go, folks. It's game on yet again. This is what it's about. Rossa Prada Pirelli, INEOS Team UK.
Both pushed their protest button. Both thinks the other one fouled.
The starts are always pretty important in the America's Cup. I mean, if you can get a jump off the line, that can really improve your chances of a win.
Probably any number of different fouls right there.
Pretty tight, huh?
It looks like the British tried to squeeze in a space that wasn't there.
Felt like the right thing to push it. I think if I was doing it again, I think I'd do the same thing.
The challenger of record haven't put a foot wrong.
Each race, we get better and better.
This is a big moment. 5-0.
I think the package is going well.
And they have done it once again and left INEOS Team UK in their wake.
We want to take this series all the way, and you know we still got our sights on winning this.
If you're watching this in the middle of the night in the UK, you will be pretty happy about this. INEOS Team UK in race 6 are leading Rossa Prada Pirelli.
The only thing that matters is the next race.
It may be a small win, but it's a significant win.
We're obviously not happy to be 5-1 down. It's not at all where we want to be.
The comeback might just be on for INEOS Team UK.
But like I keep saying, this team won't give up. We just will not give up. That momentum's key. As we all know in sport, momentum's everything.
Kia ora koto katoa, a warm welcome to Aotearoa, New Zealand, and Tamaki Makaurau, Auckland, home to the 36th America's Cup. Day 4 of the Prada Cup final, and with the scorecard at 5-1 in their favour, all Rossa need is 2 more wins, and they are the official challenger for the America's Cup. But they won't be getting carried away just yet. Ben Ainsley and INEOS Team UK rediscovered their mojo yesterday and sailed to their first win of the regatta, opening the door for the comeback. And if anybody knows about comebacks, it's that man, Jimmy Spittle. He'll be looking over his shoulder. It's desire versus desperation today on the 4th day of the Prada Cup final. A desire by Rossa to get the job done. Desperation for INEOS to not see the campaign finish. Either way, whoever wins this first to 7 race series must face the defender Emirates Team New Zealand in the match come March 6. Today, race director Ian Murray has decided course A is the preferable course for racing, a course less affected by the land. In race 7, INEOS will have port entry, Rossa starboard. The points table makes encouraging reading if you're a fan for Rossa. 5 wins in the bag, only needing 2 more to send INEOS back to the hangar to start the pack-up. INEOS must win 6 of the next 7 to make the match. Yet another day of nervous tension for both teams, and to deliver what will unfold 3 Olympic gold medalists in commentary in the form of Paul Goodison in the helicopter, Nathan Outteridge on the Chase Boat 1, Shirley Robertson, who sits beside our Commodore and President of North Sales and former America's Cup helmsman Kenny Reid. Kenny, the Italians will be keen to win today.
Well, we have 3 major factors today, the 2 competitors and the weather may be the key. So if you're Rossa Prada Pirelli, you've certainly had the conversation, and it goes something like, boys, let's get this done today. It may be the final day that the weather's predicted to be right in the Prada wheelhouse. They don't mind the breeze, but their advantage is in the light, and in the next 3 days could get really windy.
The British dock out today knowing that without a win, this will be their final day in the 36th America's Cup. Everything is on the line. Despite the odds, though, belief is still high. That win yesterday really fueled the confidence. There's a firm, unwavering trust in their leader, Ben Ainsley. As we watch them leave, know that this is a team of men who will fight hard till the very end.
And as we know, winning is everything. There is no second, and as we saw yesterday, you've got to get your start right, because that goes a hell of a long way to victory.
Feisty starts. And as the boats approach perfection around the race course, the starts have become even more critical. And yesterday was the prime example of this. A near collision, fouls over early, penalties being burned off halfway up the race course. Surely the start is turning into everything. There are no passes at this stage.
Kenny, we are yet to see overtaking in this final. The start is must win. Achieving that requires such high levels of controlled aggression and precision in execution. This is a masterclass to watch, and I can't wait to see what today brings.
in this first stage, it was INEOS, and they actually really took it in the chin. They had their penalty, and the second time around, they finally got one. Ainsley finally got on the board and got themselves a win, and why? Because he controlled the starting line. Let's see if they can do that again.
So coming up, races 7 and 8 of the Prada Cup final 2021. Let's go sailing. This team have their tails up.
Port tack entry for INEOS Team UK, which puts the pressure on to get the timing right on that critical final approach to the start. It's well documented that in this wind strength, they have to start with at least a slight edge to have their chance at beating a slightly quicker yacht. Cue the afterguard. The pre-start communication between Scott and Ainsley must be flawless today. No mistakes, no penalties. They have to be perfect.
Every race is kind of nearly a must-win race, so we treat it like any other race, really. And Ben and Giles at the back of the boat, they've been there before, they've been in their situations, and I think everyone trusts them to the hill that we're going to get the job done. So we'll just do everything we can, and pre-start's obviously pretty important, so we'll see how we go there. But I have every faith in the guys that will put the boat in the best possible position to try and get a few more wins on the board.
Here's the team that want to provide the final hammer blow today.
Rossa Prada Pirelli go into today with an enviable points lead on the British, but appear anything but complacent. We've watched them grow into a confident, formidable outfit. Their execution, their precision has become super impressive, clinical even. This is a team of men working as one. They're well drilled, impeccable, giving the twin drivers, Bruni and Spittle, all the tools, all the confidence they need to take on the British with a bag full of race-winning moves.
We have a really clear frame of mind that we are taking one race at a time, so it doesn't really exist any cushions. No, that's something we don't really rely on. As we want to win every race we do, so we focus 100% of getting out there, get the best out of the start, and win every race.
Today we're out on the Hauraki Gulf in America's Cup Speak Course A. A northeasterly sea breeze looks to be gracing us with some perfect sailing conditions. Our standard 2-minute start sequence is then followed by a 3-lap windward leeward course with 2-mile legs, finishing downwind. And to give us the up-to-the-second view of the wind and current, out on the course, our own Nathan Outeridge, live aboard Chase Boat 1. Nathan, another gorgeous day on the water.
Yeah, thanks, Kenny. It's a beautiful day out here right now. We have a building sea breeze currently around 12 to 14 knots. And as we can see with these amazing virtual eye graphics, the current is going out. It's going to get stronger as the day goes on, and it's going to favor that right-hand side. But one thing that's going to happen is the sea state is going to keep building as this current keeps strengthening. It seems like everyone who owns a boat has decided to come out here today. You know, as we watch the racing, you can almost walk actually from the top to the bottom of the race course. That's how many boats are out here. There's kids jumping in the water, there's people fishing. It's just a beautiful day out here in summer. And we've also seen the Defender, America's Cup defenders, Emirates Team New Zealand, doing laps. They look really fast, really polished. The stage is set, the weather is perfect, and we're about to witness another great day of racing. It's game on. Let's get into it, guys.
Here we go, race 7 of the Prada Cup final. INEOS Team UK, Rossa Prada Pirelli, almost perfect conditions, a building wind. Who does that favour, INEOS Team UK or Rossa Prada Pirelli? Another amazing spectator fleet out on the water, ready to see this one unfold. And you can just imagine, look at that spectator fleet for a start now, virtual eye giving us a perfect view of the stadium course. But Kenny, what's going through the mind of all three helmsmen right now?
Well, just get a good start. I think they can compartmentalize a race day down to the fine moment, Shirley, and that is to get it sorted and get a good start, because without a good start, nobody's going to win this race, as shown by the last 5 or 6 races that we've seen.
Coming up here, upwind sailing, upwind sailing. I was looking at the wrong marker. Okay, good there. Just a fast mode here.
This is the race committee. The wind sampling period is complete, and this race will start on schedule.
We are a go.
Good news. I think the British boat will be quite relieved. The forecast for today was initially quite light, but just look at it. We're seeing between 10 and 13, 14 knots. The hope of a little bit more to come. So massive relief for Britannia.
We talked earlier about starts. Get the start right, it goes a heck of a long way to winning the race. I wonder what the mindset is of Sir Ben Ainslie on port entry today. Giles Scott sort of suggested in the press conference yesterday that they quite like port entry to control the start.
Well, I don't know if they're controlling the start, but certainly they're controlling that turn back, that critical turn back. You force the other boat into making that big ultimate decision. Do you want to lead or do you want to push? They all have playbooks. There's no question about it. And yesterday, Luna Rossa pulled a new trick out of the bag. There's no question in my mind that they showed us something, and they showed Ben Ainslie something he had never seen before. So let's see if they got another trick up their sleeve. I wouldn't be shocked if they did.
Jimmy Spittle was saying that their technique, their handling is very good and very smooth. That has gone a long way to put them in the position they are now.
Every day, Stephen, they better and better, and they're showing us more and more tricks. I mean, they're really getting to grips with this AC75. It's a joy to watch.
2 minutes and 19 seconds counting to port entry. That will be 2 minutes and 10 seconds for INEOS Team UK on port entry. And as you can see, they are flying in at something like 41.5 Ks into port entry. And then they come. Look at the right-hand side of your screen. 2 minutes that Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli allowed into the pre-start. And as we keep saying, it's all on right here. 2 minutes to decide who gets the start right.
A little different move right away by the British by going really super deep down into the box. Shirley, again, these guys, these are not just random plays we're seeing right now. For the viewership around the world, we're seeing sailing like we've never seen before, and these pre-starts are the perfect example.
Yeah, I agree. There's no winging it in these starts. This will have been a play that they've discussed and practiced.
Killing 15, 16 to boundary. Okay. 15 to crossing out.
If he joins with that.
Down by board down. 2-1 board down.
Yeah, probably tanking here, Jimmy.
Copy that. Turning here.
He's on committee lane like that.
No eyes on him. Yeah. Stoking here. Starboard lane 5 in 2.
3, 2.
So you can already hear on board Prada that they were anticipating where their competitor is on the race course, where they are on the lay line, which is that straight line back to the starting line in the upper left-hand side of our screen. Here comes that push.
Time and distance to the start, critical. Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli have been almost masters at it. What's on?
I'll lower.
He'll be late. We've got a little bit to defend.
Up a little.
Ready to trim up here?
Got us racing at the pin.
Good, we're racing.
I'm really surprised that Luna Rossa gave up that distance, Shirley. That seemed like distance they didn't need to give up.
Full speed, boys. Build here.
Should be good here. Got you just on time. Maybe a little kill to do here. Little kill.
Yeah. Down a touch. Full focus on speed here.
11, 10, 9,
charging big time.
8, high pitch.
Let's go all the way. Trimming up.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Start.
Race 7, Prada Cup final is underway. No argy-bargy, clean by both.
Same now.
I was very surprised that Luna Rossa gave up that distance to windward as early as they did. I thought they had a chance to kind of hang up there and start further gapped off to whether this is a very vulnerable spot for the Italians.
It looked like a moment of slight indecision. They thought maybe we'll go for the hook, and then realized it was too late.
Nathan, you're right out next to these boats right now. Are you surprised that they dove into this position? But it seems like they're hanging pretty well right now.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think we've all discussed that they gave up a lot of leverage there, but they're actually doing a great job. We're just next to them, hanging on the hip. They're going to try and take this all the way to boundary. And lights are flashing now, so both boats are about to tack, and it's all about your exit of this tack for these two boats. I'd expect Luna Rossa going to put the high mode on him pretty quickly and try and squeeze him out.
Very well done by Spithill that whole way across. They were in an incredibly vulnerable spot up to the helicopter in the sky. Paul Goodison, were you surprised that Luna Rossa could hang in that spot all the way to the boundary?
Yeah, a little surprised they managed to stay in there as well as they did. It's going to be interesting going across here with the setup we have today. There's going to be a bit of a right bend around Rangitoto into the channel, so we'd expect a small right shift as we get over here, and I'd expect it to become quite difficult for INEOS to hang in on this this long port tack.
Any time here to attack. 2, 1, board down.
From the hunter to the hunted, that whole starboard tack line out there to the boundary, and INEOS was seemingly in control. They couldn't shake the Italians, Shirley, and all of a sudden the Italians really have the upper hand.
Italians on the right-hand side. We heard in the comms before the race that there were some options on that side. The outgoing tide as well is stronger on the right-hand side. So at the moment, well played by Jimmy Spithill and Francesco Bruni.
You would almost call that quite a composed start. Didn't win the start, but very composed and getting to do what they wanted to do.
I think they had a fair chance to lose this start, and they really kind of salvaged something out of nothing there. That was really quite impressive. Nathan, it kind of shows that high mode that we've seen with the Italian boat from time to time. That was kind of special what they did.
Yeah, very special. But man, they just stuffed up their tack there. They just had a bad tack, big splashdown. Looks like they've been able to get back up on the foil, but they tacked right on top of INEOS there. But yeah, Kenny, they have recovered. They've got quite a good control in this race. But what you're talking about is that high mode they have is very powerful. You know, to be able to live all the way to the boundary like that was very impressive, and that's a mode that INEOS don't seem to have in these conditions.
Yeah, we're seeing this splashdown that you were just referenced, not the smoothest tack in the world, but I guess if you're going to have a bad tack, you have a bad tack right on the air of your competitor. You know, they have all places to have a bad tack, not so bad.
So port tack by Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli. Are we seeing subtleties, small signs of a little bit of pressure being told?
Well, Goody, as we look down right now, we were looking at 12, 13 knots of breeze, but it sure doesn't feel like that on the water. Could we have had a little bit of lightening of the breeze, or is it still okay?
I think it looks a little lighter in general than it did just before the start, but there's quite a distinctive tide line that just went straight through the middle of the start. A real clear definition in the watercolor change between the right-hand side and the left-hand side. So you'd expect to see the boats on the right just get a little gain upwind.
Okay, got it.
This is the first leg of 6 in the 7th race of the Prada Cup final. Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli with a slight lead at this particular point in time, leading this regatta 5-1. They only need 2 more, but big day today. A huge spectator fleet out on the Hauraki Gulf, but this is a monster day.
Yeah. Okay, pressure building at 3. Speed's good. He's not going to lay, right? Copy. No. Then we just follow him left. No obvious reason to early jibe other than the split bend, pressure-wise. Yeah. Copy, mate. Let's keep pushing here, boys. Try and get back in.
3, 2, 1, board down.
If you're a British fan, that is not a sight you want to see. There's no question about that. A dominant positioning by Luna Rossa, and one and into the left gate to the gate at the bottom of our screen, and INEOS is going to have to follow him right in.
Luna Rossa going through the top gate for the first time in this 7th race with a lead on INEOS Team UK. That despite a poor tack halfway up the course. Down and up they were, and down they go on the first downwind leg.
My wheel. Yeah, copy.
In comes INEOS Team UK.
1, down hard, easy. Okay.
Small margins at the moment after the first gate, 16 seconds.
Definitely better down this boundary, unfortunately.
Yeah. Okay. You're already talking, Shirley, about chances to split, places to split. Usually you're patient this time in the race, but Goody, we're looking down on the course. This is the race course that really doesn't have a lot of shifts, does it? It's really kind of either persistent or kind of one side favors. Not a lot of chances at passing from the wind shift standpoint.
No, you're right there, Kenny. It's very much as just a stable breeze across the course. We're seeing slightly softer on the right-hand side at the top, but in general it's just right shifted at the top and left shifted at the bottom as it just bends around Rangitoto and goes back on the channel. We're seeing pretty stable pressure here. I think it's going to be a boat speed race from here on in.
Okay, main on, 31s. Yeah, just reading 12 knots still, but...
We fully powered up, boys.
It's a lot lighter, Kenny. We're seeing readings of 8, 9 knots at the top of the course.
Going well the boat here, guys.
Let's go on board Luna Rossa.
I like to be slightly fast, like we are doing. Is good, Pietro. Yeah, righty face. Eventually I will take the throttle and you check, but so far I think we stay. He stays, we stay. A little bit of a rebuild, small rebuild.
Watching Francesco Bruni look behind him at the competitor quite a bit. I mean,
You beat me too, but is that the first time we've seen him look behind?
Well, it probably is, but it also shows a comfort that they have in sailing their boats. I don't think, I mean, go back to watching, you know, Goody and American Magic and Dean Barker holding on for dear life on that boat for sometimes, Goody. These guys are just kind of out in a walk in the park, it seems like. They've really gotten control of these animals, these AC-75s.
Yeah, for sure. It's quite forgiving conditions at the moment. This 10 to 12 knots are probably where the boats are the easiest to sail. A little less than this, it gets a bit stressful. And then not until you get over 15 does it really start the heart racing again. It'd be interesting to see what Francesco's heart rate is right now. I heard a rumor that it was slightly higher than Chris Brittle's the other day, which made me chuckle.
Okay, pressure's coming. Yep. Feels like nicer this side. Just on our hip. Staying a little bit hotter here, Bled. Good get pressure up the speed, then work it down. Right now it's one on
just
the left, boys.
Keep an eye on that ley line, obviously, Ben.
Left, yeah. But we just want to not go too far to the right, though, after we've rounded.
No, no problem. If he does a JK, I go early tech. No problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So look at the heart rates. Sorry, Kenny, there are the heart rates. Francesco Bruni sitting around, well, 122, and Jimmy Spittle at 79. Looking on. Well, he's fit. He's fit.
They're getting a defibrillator out for Spithill right now.
No, not at all. If it was down around 40, you'd probably get it up there, but...
Where's the big man, Chris Brittle, sitting at the big grinder at the front of INEOS? I bet he's up there right now.
The lead around 270 metres on the first downwind leg of the 7th race in the Prada Cup final. Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli in control. They're heading towards this bottom gate for the first time.
Nathan, you got to be thinking a split at this stage, right? You got to be thinking something, because I don't think you're going to beat that Prada boat just by following them around the track and being patient at this stage. What do you think?
Yeah, they definitely need a split, but you heard Francesco Bruni saying down there, if they JK, they tack straight around this mark, I just tack and match them. They're not going to get a split. Prada is not going to allow a split, so they can try as much as they want, but it's not happening.
Bottom gate for the first time. Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli still controlling the 7th race. And as we have said on numerous occasions, as this team has got better and better, nice smooth rounding of the mark, and away they go on leg number 3 of race number 7. It was 16 seconds at the top gate. And not too much more as INEOS Team UK come around the bottom gate. Maybe a 5-second game and not the best drive around by INEOS Team UK. 21 seconds the deficit.
Surely it shows how smooth these boats have gotten, though. We're calling that not a great rounding. That's a brutally hard maneuver that they just pulled off and had a tiny little splashdown. Looked pretty good to me. Maybe not the perfection that Mr. MacGyver here is expecting.
The bustle just kissed the water. They survived well. You know, both these boats set out with a slightly smaller jib, expecting more breeze. And I wonder if this is also hurting INEOS. You know, they need power in these lighter conditions and currently look to be slightly struggling.
Yeah, a little further and just dig into this left.
Yeah, I agree.
They're sailing like a faster boat. I mean, it's really not your mentality of how you cover, where you position your boat, everything else. If you feel comfortable in your boat speed, man, oh man, everything comes easy.
I tell you what's comfortable is the communication between Jimmy Spittle and Francesco Bruni. Let's see if we can grab a bit of it.
Nice tank, boys.
They're tasting the blood in the water, Shirley. I hate to say this, but just you can hear it in the tone of their voice. It just feels a little different.
I think we keep doing this soft coverage, protecting the left in general.
Yeah, copy.
Ben Ainsley admitted in the press conference yesterday that if the breeze is under 30 knots,
no rush. Even if the
it's a challenge.
Would one be so bold as say, was that
good balance
the
here,
white
boys.
flag at half mast?
No, I think he's trying to be a realist, and you know, the rhetoric kind of fits the crime here, so to speak. You know, they're looking for some rallying cry to be the underdog, and these guys are saying, no, both boats are the same speed, no big deal. So again, the rhetoric kind of fits what each of them have to talk about.
Well, the response by Jimmy Spittle is, I'm happy with the boat in all conditions. That was it. Say no more. Rossa Prada Pirelli.
Nothing to worry about.
As you can see here, Francesco Bruni, top right of that screen. That bow camera. Oh, gosh, I love that shot.
Stand by in 3. Holding 1. We go a little bit more so that we secure the one and in after.
Right mark and early jump.
Stand by in 3, 2, 1. 4 down.
Out to Paul Goodison up in the helicopter. They're talking about two things, Paul. They're talking about the left side of the course all of a sudden they like a little bit more, which is interesting. And then the other thing is they're talking about the geometry of the race course already, how the geometry works and how many tacks they're actually going to do into the top gate. Can you just take people through how that software works?
Sorry, just getting stuck on.
Yes, you have a software up in front of you of how many more tacks before you make the gate. And really smart call there by the guys on Prada. They were just about to tack. They realized that if they went another 50, 100 meters, it opened up one more tack before the top gate after the one they were into there. So it just means that they're securing that it's not costing them an extra maneuver before they get to the top. And just looking at the course, even though the tide's turned on the right-hand side now, it still looks like this left side is just more consistent pressure, more even. It goes a little bit against the right shift at the top of the course, but it's, I guess as the breeze gets lighter, it's more about the slight bit of extra pressure rather than the shift.
That was the voice of Paul Goodison, gold medalist, mainsail trimmer for American Magic. He's in our helicopter, our eye in the sky. Nathan Outteridge out on chase boat number 1. As you see, we're following at the moment and going on board with INEOS Team UK, who are having to be the hunter right now of Luna Rossa on this third leg of 6 and race 7 of the Prada Cup final.
27. Just go on and in here.
Okay, boys. And 3, 2, 1. Here we go.
My rake, my drop.
Just look at the engine room do its job. I think you were the one, Kenny, who said earlier with these tacking chills, those boys are absolutely knackered by the end of a race.
Yeah, the grinding world championships, we called it a week or so ago. It's really, it's a different world. They're pumping hydraulic fluid for the most part and accumulating hydraulic pressure, so everything from the water line up can be trimmed properly.
So we do right gate, potential early jibe, boys. But let's settle first, okay?
Just so good when you've got 14 microphones and 10 cameras on board each boat to know exactly what is going on. You heard Francesco Bruni telling everybody around the world exactly what they're going to do. Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli halfway through this 7th race, getting one step closer.
Good course.
To the match. It's not done yet though. So half distance completed. Leg number 3 for Luna Rossa.
Maybe out of jibe before him.
Around they go.
For sure. Yeah.
Nice and easy. Sunday afternoon on the harbour.
Nice stretch out here, Shirley. And I'll tell you what, Mr. Bruni's, for a guy whose heart rate is at 122, sounds pretty calm, cool, and collected to me. It's actually phenomenal.
They are just stretching this lead all the time.
INEOS Team UK approaching the halfway mark of this 7th race, and that, as Shirley quite rightly says, that lead has extended to Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli. INEOS Team UK, top gate.
Okay, this is course for 10.
And it's gone over
5
a minute now.
4, 3, 2, 1. Big down.
1 minute and 7 seconds on the downward leg. Leg number 4 of 6.
So Nathan, in this wind strength, when are you, let's put yourself in Peter Burling's shoes for a second. You think they're impressed? You think they're nervous? You think they got him? What do you think? If we're slightly looking ahead. We still got a race to go here, but this is a very impressive performance here in this wind strength. And this is the predominant wind strength this time of year, right?
It is the predominant wind strength. You know, 10 knots is a pretty nice, light sort of sea breeze that we get throughout the month of March. It's a great question. What are Team New Zealand thinking right now? I know that this series is not over, but you asked me the question, and for the hour before racing, Team New Zealand were doing laps and pre-start practice on this race course. They're now actually off to the left of the race course. They're up near Tirri sailing themselves. So I thought that they were going to stop and watch this race and observe. I guess they figured they'll watch the broadcast back and get all the details from our brilliant commentary. But right now, they are out there right now doing their own thing, improving themselves. So I don't think they're really watching that too closely today, but for sure that they know the boat that will be coming up against them, and they'll be getting prepared for that.
Give yourself a wrap, pal.
Got to talk it up when you can, don't you, Stephen?
In general,
Goody, you've been looking at these mainsails for a long time, you know, more than any of us. When you look at Prada's aero, when you look at their sail plan, what do you think? What do they have?
It just looks super smooth. They obviously do a really nice job of the seal to the deck. There's a little bit of a theory that they have a boom underneath the deck that's disclosed to hide everything on, but the way it seals to the deck is nice. But the big thing is, it's not just the bottom meter that's important, it's a whole sail. And they do quite a nice job of generating power when they need to, and flattening the sail plan off really fast when it's required. But I think what we're seeing out here right now is that out of the two boats, they have similar area sails, but the Italian boat just manages to deal with having slightly less power. They just look a little bit more slippery through the water and don't look like they need to generate those big cambers to power the boat forward, whereas INEOS looks just really underpowered at the moment. They're the guys who you see with the smaller jibs on seem to suffer earlier, and I think that's what's the difference is right now.
Better pressure now.
As this lead stretches out, Nathan, back to that Team New Zealand question. You know, they're actually jumping in on this race course probably to get their own data on the race course, and then they see all the TV data after these races. They have something to compare one for one with, don't they?
Yeah, there's a huge advantage being the defender. They do laps of this course before and after these races. They try to do that in the same wind strength, and what that means is that they know how they stack up compared to these two boats. But these two boats have no idea how they stack up against the defenders. So New Zealand might not be getting any of the race practice or training, but they're getting a good idea of performance comparisons, which these teams aren't getting.
It's good to be the defender, Shirley.
Gotta make the rules.
Luna Rossa approaching the bottom gate to complete the 4th leg of race number 7. They have stretched the lead on INEOS Team UK in front of a magnificent spectator fleet. As you can see on our virtual eye, it really is a stadium watch for everybody out there and for you at home, wherever you are watching around the world. As Luna Rossa gets set to round that bottom gate and start on leg number 5. Just like a board. That's what that rounding was.
Smooth and slick.
There's a little lefty again. Same lefty as we had before. He will be
2, 1,
driving.
4 down.
Okay, no problem.
Turning.
I wouldn't call that a rambunctious crossing of the deck by Mr. Ainsley right there, Shirley.
Okay, 34's my pitch. Yeah. How's pressure look
Team
out that
UK into the bottom gate.
Yeah, looks good.
To finish leg number 4, it was approximately 1 minute and 7 seconds at the top gate. It picked up a little bit of time. Just a little bit of time, but when you look at that and the speed of these AC75s, they need a lot more than that. 1 minute and 2 seconds. Picked up 5, but let's be blunt, it's probably not going to be enough.
We talked about it in the pre-show, Shirley, the perfection that these boats have slowly developed over time. We used to talk about a 1 mistake lead or a 2 mistake leads, expecting that mistake, anticipating that mistake. They just don't happen anymore.
No, we're not seeing... Think back pre-Christmas, we didn't know what to expect. The mistakes just came thick and fast. But now, the way they sail these boats, both teams, it's extraordinary.
Perfect example. First leg, bad tack. Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli. Pre-Christmas, that could have been a game changer. Down, up, move on. Thanks for coming.
Yeah, it's... It really is traditional in these new crazy classes. We saw the same thing in Bermuda, Nathan, didn't we? Where the boats were super unpredictable early on in the series in Bermuda, and then as it went along, remember the old flight time? We had 100% flight times very often near the end. We're kind of seeing the same thing here, aren't we?
Yeah, we are. The way that the America's Cup's always worked is it's a design race. It's generally about the fastest boat. So you spend 2-3 years designing, testing to make the boat go faster. You're not ever really doing any race training. These teams haven't been able to do any race training except against their chase boats. So when they came here in December, that was the first time they got to line up against another boat. And so the race mistakes come in. So we're commentating, being very critical of them not being very good at racing when, honestly, they've spent 3 years only on performance. And right now, you can see why. One boat is faster than the other, so that 3 years of development on making sure those foils, those sails, those systems on board are as good as they can be is what's deciding the race. So I guess the way that it always works is the sailors just have to work out how to sail and race these boats, but they really rely on the design team and the engineers to come up with clever solutions to make the boats go fast. And it's a collaboration of the two things, and that's why the America's Cup is such a unique challenge and a huge team effort.
You know, the most surprising thing, I'm going to use the word surprising thing about the performance of Luna Rossa, all up till the Prada Cup final, let us be blunt, they were nothing flash. They weren't setting the world on fire, and suddenly, surely when it matters, boom.
I mean, just as Nathan said, they'd spent all that time developing the boat, and there was certainly potential in the boat. We saw glimmers of greatness, but they couldn't tame the beast. And as the weeks have gone on, it's just got tighter and tighter and smoother.
I can remember Jimmy Spittle coming, was it just pre-Christmas or just post-Christmas, saying, and they'd just finished the race and talking to Francesco going, mate, we're on the edge. We're right on the edge. And there's almost a sense of, I'm not so sure how far we can push this boat. Right now, they're going, well, let's just keep pushing it because they have incredible confidence in their platform.
Yep, same plan as before. Just one on there.
In any yacht race, Kenny, when you know
coming up a little now.
you have the speed edge, it's It's a joy. You can do whatever you want, go wherever you can.
You know why, Stephen?
Because a slow boat has never won the America's Cup.
Attaboy. Attaboy.
Tank 17 bleds. Copy. Rolling windward. 26s.
So this is race 7 of the Prada Cup final. Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli have 5 wins. As it stacks up right now, that'll go to number 6. And then they're 1 step away, 1 win away from the match.
Just getting there.
Just got to know what's going on in Benazzi's head right now.
Yeah.
I think it was really showing in that last cross. The cross, we saw him run across the boat. He kind of did it, kind of half speed. Listen, he's on.
Yeah, it's 27.
We don't know for sure, but mentally he's on to the next race. This race is over, Shirley, don't you think?
Hold here and go soft.
Maybe if the conditions had been different, but as you say, Ben Ainsley's a realist. They know the performance profile of their machine, and today it just didn't roll their way. It's light winds. They know they've got issues with that.
I'm gonna make it anyway.
Let's not raise the right white flag yet as we complete leg number 5 for Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli, and they will head on the downward leg, the home leg, in race number 7.
Lower than this. This is good though.
No rush.
2, 1, all good.
Sweet. Just like that, around they go and head home. Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli, the challenger of record, moving a little bit closer to the big show, the America's Cup.
You'll see him setting up. That's crossing.
Copy. Yes, I can see him.
2.
Stand by, boys.
Down.
3. 2, 1. Go down.
We'll let these guys commentate for a little bit. It's fantastic to hear the action on board, of course, but when it gets spread out like this, it becomes a little more, I guess, predictable.
Yep, 26s.
The one that you can guarantee, it'll be pretty quiet on board Luna Rossa. Maybe a little more animated as we sit right now with INEOS Team UK.
Pressure here.
Copy.
This idea, you want to try and get around that left, don't we? Better pressure.
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Okay, let's see if we can get there.
Yeah.
Not sure we are.
Yeah, copy. The 26 is there, I think we just build.
Yeah, building here for attack.
My pitch. Yep.
Set up, lads.
Okay, crossing. Ready.
2, 1, quarters down. Turning.
INEOS Team UK.
Powering up 22s.
Okay.
3s.
Taking a little bit of height.
Finally getting through that top gate for the last time. And that lead, let us be honest, has blown out.
29s. Gentle land.
1 minute and 45 seconds deficit. That was a heck of a lead for Luna Rossa. Not so for INEOS Team UK.
It's going to go back to that start where Luna Rossa really had an average, maybe below average start, right? And they hung in there right to the first edge and actually leave out them coming. It was, we hadn't seen that before. That was actually, I thought that was a remarkable 45 seconds or so, Shirley, that these guys really showed a bit of dominance, that height mode in the light stuff that we've seen bits and pieces of. That was pure power. That was amazing.
If it had been the other way around, INEOS would not have survived there. But as you say, Luna Rossa have modes, they have options. And as they're getting more and more familiar, more comfortable with their boat, we're just seeing more and more of that. Goody, final leg. What are you seeing from the helicopter? What's left in this race?
Just looks like it's getting lighter. It looks like it's almost over, I think, unfortunately for the INEOS guys in this race. They got to look at the next race and fingers crossed the breeze builds a bit. I think they were a little unfortunate with the more pressure before the start, talked them into the smaller jib, and they look like they're paying for that a lot harder than the Italian boat. Again, the most critical part was how well the Italians held the lane out of the start. It just really showing up the difference in performance between the two boats in these lighter conditions.
Goody, you were part of American Magic for nearly 4 years. You know, how hard do you think this day is for INEOS, knowing how much effort has gone into it all?
Yeah, it's hard. The pressure's on, but you're still looking at each race at a time. They're still going to be thinking on the INEOS boat, we have another race to get this right. We have to be more aggressive in the starts. We have to try and get in front and make it hard for the Italians. But when you're sailing a boat in these conditions, it's a little bit better. It gets very difficult.
It was quite surprising there wasn't much RG in the start. We were expecting more as to what we saw yesterday. I personally was just a little surprised, knowing how important today is.
I mean, the British boat nailed the start. They had a play, the way it was going to pan out, and Jimmy Spittle just didn't really engage.
They had a plan, and they have a plan. Jimmy Spittle, Francesco Bruni, Luna Rossa, Prada Pirelli, the challenger of record. And they are about to win race number 7 of the Prada Cup final and take a 6-1 lead in this regatta. They can smell the America's Cup match. They are across the line. Luna Rossa, Prada Pirelli with win number 6. They have signaled their intentions. They're showing Emirates Team New Zealand and the rest of the sailing world, they are here to play, and they will play hard.
Good recovery. Couple things off the boat there. Good recovery, first of all, for obviously. But the second thing is they got this down to such a science that they jibed at the finish line to, quote, set themselves up for the next pre-start. So they're already thinking about the next pre-start. That's the detail that has gone into sailing these boats and preparing these boats to do battle. I thought that was very interesting.
Also, hardly even a well done. I mean, I've never seen such a calm Italian unit before. They're definitely taking it one race at a time.
There won't be too much chat on board INEOS Team UK. In fact, look at the body language of Subenese. He just pretty much just ambled across to that starboard wheel. The question now is, can they win the last race of the day to stay alive? They have to win. They have to win every race now.
I would have placed them off that starting line in a really good spot. And the fact of the matter is they couldn't make that spot 6. Really shows how much improvement Luna Rossa has made.
INEOS Team UK finish race number 7, but they finish in a place they don't want to be. That is second, and second gives you nothing. One more race. They've got to win race number 8. Otherwise, it's over. A beautiful day on the Hauraki Gulf, that iconic Rangitoto framing the race course. And here is the final result. Luna Rossa, Prada Pirelli win race number 7, take a 6-1 lead by 1 minute and 45 seconds.
This was not maybe exactly that feisty battle that we thought it was going to be, but on the top of the screen is the Italian boat. They actually give up a lot of leverage here and get down into what we think at the time is a really vulnerable position. That it's a terrible position to be in, actually, Shirley, as we all know. You don't want to be that tight to windward boat. It's really hard to steer from. It's really hard to build speed from. We all really thought that the British were in a nice spot. Well, that didn't pan out because they actually hung in there all the way to the boundary, and after 2 tacks, made a lee bow stick. We were really surprised at this. It was just a better tack. I think INEOS came out a little deeper coming out of the tack. It just shows that the maneuverable boat really has a big advantage right now, and they turn that very quickly into not a one mistake pass, because they did make a mistake right there. They just turned it into a dominant performance. Sure, they tried to give away a little bit right there, but surely from here on, it just became kind of a cakewalk, didn't it?
There's no question, Prada is faster, and the more maneuvers they do, the more it seems to extend in these light winds. So from not a brilliant start, they managed to hold on and just extend throughout this race. I mean, very, very impressive.
This lead just kept growing. I mean, a minute 45 at the finish. That's a crushing, right? That is dominant. Just kept ticking away and ticking away. Didn't put a foot wrong, and like you said, Shirley, when you're in a faster boat, it's easy to be a brilliant tactician. There's really nothing in it. Going around marks, the right strategy, the right, as we were talking to Paul Goodison about, the right geometry, using the race course to your advantage, and even when you finish the race, jibing and setting yourself up for the next pre-start. You know, it's really hats off to these guys. Really, really impressive performance.
Conditions ended up fully in their sweet spot, didn't it?
We're going on board Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli in just a minute. We'll just get ourselves sorted and have a talk to Francesco. On board Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli, they are a 6-1 leader and one race win to go, and they'll be the official challenger of the America's Cup. Francesco, that's right, no, one to go, Francesco. How satisfying was that performance today?
We are super happy, obviously, but again, we are very close. For sure, we are very close, but we need to focus to the next race. We cannot give anything for granted. We have to stay focused and keep sailing well.
Francesco, congratulations. It looks in that wind speed like you had all the tools in the toolbox. You could go wherever you wanted and have any kind of mode. Do you know how confident are you in this, that you just have the edge?
Yeah, I mean, we had a little bit more wind before the start, and then it dropped during our pre-start and was lighter. And this chop is probably making the wind also feeling less. I don't know, but it was definitely a lot lighter, and we both boats had smaller jibs, which I think was good for us. We definitely have the high mode, and we prove it after the first stack. And it's a great tool to have in this light wind.
Grazie, Francesco. We'll talk to you after race number 8.
Thank you.
Let's go on board INEOS Team UK, Sir Ben Ainsley. Ben, where to? Where to from now?
Got to start, win a race, win the next race. Got to win every race from now on in. Otherwise, we're out. So it gets pretty simple.
Ben, the breeze obviously dropped a little bit, probably a little bit more than you guys thought. Both boats were probably caught with a smaller jib. They just look more maneuverable when it's a little underpowered, don't they?
Yeah, they're going about 2 knots faster, Ken. So yeah, it's pretty hard to race against that. There's, you know, their boat. Yeah, we know they've got legs in this breeze, and we've been trying everything we can to get on top of it, but clearly we can't. And yeah, it's tough. It's tough for guys, but you know, we'll keep pushing. Breeze is still pretty light here, so it's that balance between trying to make something happen at the start or not. Clearly an even start isn't going to cut it against a boat that's performing that much better.
Thanks for your time, Ben. Good luck in race number 8 this afternoon.
Thanks.
Understandably a disappointed Sir Ben Ainsley on INEOS Team UK. They've got to win every race from here on in. Let's just quickly take a look at the numbers and to see how it showed the win to Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli.
Yeah, barely a faster boat, so I think it's probably a lot about VMG and height, right, Shirley? I mean, that's really quite a bit of a distance sailed difference between the two, but there had to be a real height factor in there, not just pure speed, but both depth downwind and height upwind.
Let's take a look at the key moment, because this was quite critical.
This is incredible, right, Shirley? I mean, we thought Prada was in a really tough spot here.
but they just managed to live there. They just had a little bit of height and lived there, still with pace. They're still at 30 knots. Just managed to stay long enough to get to the boundary so that when they tacked, well, Britannia was in a tight spot, and from there it was tough.
Well-executed move is our key moment on the first leg of race number 7, but that's done. It's all over. We're going to race number 8, and Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli are in the box seat, one race win away. Onto the water, chase boat 1. Nathan Outeridge. What have Luna Rossa got more of, and what can INEOS do, Nathan?
Well, Luna Rossa have got more height. It's really obvious from down at the water that they can sail a much higher mode. You heard Francesco Bruni say it there, and that means that on the start they can live in those tight positions. When they get to leeward of the other boat, they can really peel them off. It's such a powerful tool in this light air. And I'm interested to hear what Paul Goodison has to think. You know, you've been in this position of INEOS right now, you know, on the cusp of getting eliminated. What will they be thinking about today?
I think they've just got to hope that they can get a better start and just try and really box them around and stay in front. The real difficult bit is every time you look at the Italian boat, it just seems to accelerate slightly faster, a little bit less drag. They can take that in height, they can take it forward, but the maneuvers look crisp, the acceleration looks good, and it's really an uphill struggle. But you know those guys on INEOS, they're real competitors. They're going to come out fighting, and I think we might a bit more action in the start this time. It was a surprise to see Jimmy stand off. You don't see that very often, but that must be how confident he is.
Thanks, Paul. Appreciate that. Desperation time for INEOS Team UK. More to come. Race 8, not too far away. Beautiful day on the Hauraki Gulf, and it's a big day for INEOS Team UK. And like many kids, Bleden Mon dreamed of representing his country and turning his passion for sailing into a full-time career. His mum, a professional careers advisor, was supportive, but insisted he back that dream up with some professional qualifications. It was, as history can testify, a case of mum knows best.
Things have moved on a lot since I started sailing. I don't think I could have ever imagined really being part of an America's Cup team. Yeah, very privileged to be kind of part of a Cup team, and especially part of a British team.
Slightly better if we go about another 30 seconds. Still the same feature at Windward of North Head.
Well, Mum was a careers advisor when I was growing up, so she kind of kept me quite grounded. And when I was kind of coming to the end of kind of school years, I was quite keen to become a professional sailor, and that was what kind of my heart was set on. But she made sure that I had a fallback plan, and that's essentially what led to me doing an engineering degree at Southampton. And yeah, it turns out that's been very valuable kind of going forward and being part of an America's Cup team where the technical side is equally important, if not more important, than the sailing side itself. My engineering background means that I'm also involved in the design side of the team here, working on performance in the performance team. That's a kind of great balance to be able to have, to be able to work on the design side, but also be on the boat, on the water, and feedback learnings from a given day.
Pressure coming back in 10.
Yeah, it's a split role, which is quite busy, but yeah, I enjoy it. There's obviously heaps of data that we get off a boat from a given day's sailing, but some feedback just has to be kind of how it feels, and that's quite subjective. We rely on kind of the sailors to give that feedback. So the relationship between the design team and the sailing team is something that develops over time, but I think we've got a nice balance here.
My pitch. Okay, your wheel, my wheel.
sometimes you're happy to push the sim quite hard because the element of risk really isn't there. That does allow us to explore kind of the limits, I guess, with less risk and less consequence. But yeah, you have to be aware of reining that in a little bit when it comes to sailing the boat on the water. Consequences are obviously much higher. The sim is great for throwing the boat around and seeing maybe what the ultimate limit is. These boats are obviously 75 foot long. It's a big bit of gear. At the same time, it's surprisingly manoeuvrable, and as a result, you can really throw the boat around when it comes to pre-start sailing.
Got us killing 15.
And I think that'll be an exciting part of this Cup, especially now with the upwind starts, kind of going back to more traditional match racing starting. And I think we'll see teams kind of really pushing the limits, particularly in the pre-start.
Okay.
All the sailors and all the teams are very experienced, and we'll be pushing the boats as hard as we can. So expect to see some close quarters racing.
INEOS Team UK, what's going through the mind of this team? They have to win the next race, race number 8. Do not win it, and it's over. You can start going back to the hangar and thinking about going home. 4 years in the making. Can they salvage a race win in race number 8? The Italian challenger of record, that's Luna Rossa, has tried and failed 5 times to win the America's Cup. The closest they've come is winning the Louis Vuitton Cup. That was right here in Auckland back in 2000. And standing on the dock, cheering his fellow countrymen, was Pierluigi De Felice. It was a life-changing moment and the beginning of a 20-year quest.
I think America's Cup for me meant a lot.
We knew this was going to be hard, but this is brutal.
I was here in 1999 doing a youth 4 and 17 world champ with my brother in New Zealand. Came along the side of the bay, see the boat came in and say, wow, that's what I want to do. That's my dream. And from there on, I just chase it up.
Race 6, Louis Vuitton Cup.
I did the 2003 Cup, my first one with Mascazzone Latino. That was, unfortunately, was a limited funded campaign. Got my foot in the door and had my experience.
The start, race 2, our Valencia, Spain.
Then repeat that campaign in Valencia, 2007. Had a good budget, 2 boat, a great crew. Just think didn't came together.
Desperate time here on Luna Rossa, unfortunately. This is a big hill to climb.
Then joined Luna Rossa for the 2013 Cup in San Fran. We're always going to be like the, let's say, satellite team for Emirates Team New Zealand, help them out, you know, and building the team for the next up. Then start working again for the Bermuda campaign 2017. Everything was going perfectly. We had like 2 boats. We were the earliest team in the water, had a beautiful development program, and everything was going really great. Oracle Racing changed the rules, modify all the protocol and change the rules for the yacht. And the yacht was not anymore a 62-foot yacht, it was a 50-foot one design catamarans with one design hulls. And for us, it was obviously devastating, but that's what it is.
Pressure without numbers.
You know, you can achieve a lot of things in life, and I guess that's the most important thing for me in sailing. You know, there is no a single race or a single moment or a single win that is not cool. An old friend used to say, you know, you're only as good as your last race, so you just keep pushing all the time. There's no one single time you're not pushing. It's always a new game in America's Cup. That's what I guess is the nice thing about the America's Cup. I remember I started with professional sailing in monohull match racing slow boat, and then we turned around and went catamarans fast sailing, and then we went foiling, and then we went catamaran foilings, and now we're on monohull foiling. And that's, I guess, the beauty of it. We right at the top of the sports and keep developing a new feature and keep following the technology and keep inventing things. I think we feel like we are in a sweet spots now. Finally got all the funding and doing the right thing and tick all the boxes to be competitive, being challenger of record, and I really feel we got a great shot here. So.
In any sport we play, it's crucial to know the rules of the game. In the America's Cup, there's an exception to the port starboard right-of-way rule, and that's when the boats approach a boundary. You can't force a boat off the race course. When the boat's within 115 meters of the boundary, it gains the right-of-way and the right to tack, even if it's on port tack within that zone. In this case, blue would normally have the advantage, but it has to play by the rules, and blue has to give way.
On board Rossa Prada Pirelli. What's going through the mind of that whole crew? The likes of Francesco Bruni, also Jimmy Spittle. They are one win away from being the official challenger for the America's Cup. They've done it all in style. Let's update the team.
Well, there's a quiet cockiness to this squad. For all the right reasons, they're fast, and a fast boat is a smart boat. It gets you out of trouble, allows you to sail without taking big chances. Ben Ainsley said he thinks Luna Rossa is going 2 knots faster. Well, I think the data shows that their strength is actually in their height upwind, simply higher for the same speed. A huge weapon, especially in match racing. Is this the final race of the Prada Cup? On to the match? Let's see.
Question's got to be asked, and what the other question we have to ask is, what have INEOS Team UK got up their sleeve to keep this Prada Cup final alive? Let's confirm their lineup for race number 8.
The 36th America's Cup really has turned into the last chance saloon for INEOS Team UK. One mistake, one bad call, and it's all over. 6-1 down is a mountain to climb for the British boat. I'm not sure how much more jeopardy Ben Ainsley needs before he kicks it up a gear, but this team are now living on the edge. They've come a long way, but if they're going to make it to the cup match now, boy, do they need to deliver.
Race number 8, Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli, INEOS Team UK. The team on the left, so close, they can smell the match. It's a different story on INEOS Team UK. It must be an incredibly hard feeling to be on that boat, knowing now you have to win every race to make it to the America's Cup. Let's go up high with Paul Goodison. There was a suggestion, Paul, while you're up in that helicopter, that Ben Ainsley might be a little more brutish in this start.
I think it's got to be. There's not many options left. You see now they've pulled up the J1, the biggest size jib. You're looking at wind, and it doesn't really look much different from the race before. So it's a real tough situation. You're there knowing that you've probably got a speed disadvantage, and knowing that it's going to be one more race and it's all over. You've got to try and make something happen. I think we're going to see some fireworks in the start, but it's going to be really difficult for them from here.
Let's go to chase boat 1. Nathan, what are you calling right now? What are you feeling?
Well, I think you're right, and everyone said it. Ben's going to have to get really aggressive in this start, but you know, his back is up against the wall for multiple reasons. He's in a slower boat. He's down 6-1. He's got to pull out some magic to get this one out of the bag. So, looking up at the course right now, I can see Prada sitting in the water, just sort of waiting for their time run to get into an entry. INEOS on the foil, already sailing. The breeze has maybe come up a click, but it's still below 11 knots. So, you know, it could be a tough race coming up here, but never write Ben Ainsley off.
You can't find magic, though, Shirley, can you? I mean, these guys have been slowly but surely tweaking this boat and making it in a boat, you know, from the Christmas regatta onto the round robin series. Everybody knows the miraculous turnaround, of which they deserve all the credit in the world. But it kind of feels like a dead end right now. Like, what else can you do? I think Paul said it best. You got to do something so special in the start that it puts the other person in an impossible spot. And we know that it's really, it's easy to say. It's almost impossible to do.
I mean, I can't think what he could do to Prada, which would stop them. They, you know, they have pace to burn. But saying that, I think the British unit are not going to give up without a fight. One more race to go. Ben Ainsley, you know, he can be ferocious when he wants to, and he's going to have to deliver something very special in this final, potentially final pre-start.
Ready to take off. Race 8, not too far away. The Prada Cup final 2021.
They've got to try to get to tomorrow.
Okay, let's turn up and
that's
then
their
we'll
whole goal here. Get to tomorrow, because all of a sudden the breeze is on. And when the breeze is on, we know how unpredictable this can be. We've seen crazy things happen when the breeze is on. So they got to figure out a way to get to tomorrow. That's their hope.
For me, they've got to try and get them off the foils in this pre-start. You've got to try and do something major. You've got to try and go for the hook. You've got to try and force an error from the Italians. And for me, the only option is to try and get them off the foils. Obviously, they don't want to come off the foils themselves because we know how hard it is for them to get back up. But for me, that looks like the only hope at the moment.
Yeah, got it. Killing 25.
Just under 60 seconds for
pressure's
port
back up a
entry
little bit now. Wonder whether we back off on the, you know, what we're talking about.
Yes, yeah, copy that.
Prada Pirelli.
See how it goes.
Killing 19.
Direction third, 90 square.
313 on the box end.
Trying to get a little strategy off of these boats. They're not giving us very much. It did sound like Ainsley and Scott were talking about something tricky. Let's give it a shot, he said. You never know, they might have something that they're going to pull out of their bag that we haven't seen yet.
Cannon?
Yeah, well, I would not hold anything back at this stage. If that's your shot, that's your shot.
Shot across the bows, make it a big one. Port entry for Rossa Prada Pirelli. They're allowed in on 2 minutes and 10 seconds, as it has been for these regattas, and away they come in, sitting just under 40 knots. On the right-hand side, starboard entry will be INEOS Team UK. So let's see if the question is answered. What can INEOS Team UK and Sabine Ainsley do to something dramatic to salvage this campaign and head into tomorrow?
We'll be coming around the bow in a minute.
Yep.
All right, we haven't seen this before, Nathan. This is a little bit of a tighter lead push position than we've ever seen. So they might have some little trick up their sleeve.
Just on starboard leg.
Yeah, for sure. They're going to push hard on this. I think Goody's right. They've got to get off the foils if they want a chance in this race.
A minute. He's inside starboard leg for us. Left shift.
2, 1.
17 to boundary. 16 to boundary, 10 closest.
Port down.
Pressure is even on the course.
Coming up in.
Clearing board bed?
Yeah.
Starboard
going board.
Prada, they had to jibe early there on Ainsley's boat. He's the one who's vulnerable to a hook right now.
Trimming up.
Killing 8.
Jibed himself in kind of a tough spot. Early back.
Killing 9 to the pin.
Your wheel.
My wheel.
Force him on the down. Get on his breeze, Get on his breeze.
Coming on his breeze.
No, don't come away too much. Okay, nice, mate.
We got him good. Nice there, 26s, boys. No problem here.
Building here now.
Yeah, 26s. Okay,
they're going to bear away and do a port tack start, so they think that Ainsley's actually on time at this stage.
Nice pressure.
He's actually given into a port tack start on the Italian side.
Just make sure he doesn't lock us out here. Okay.
Still early.
They are both early. There's no question they're both early. Both could be starting on port tack at this stage. Ainsley might not be out of the woods yet.
Come out of this.
Okay, got it.
No, don't think so.
Protest up from Rossa at the start of race 8.
Yeah, I will flag it.
I will.
No lower.
Whoa!
Okay, good angle.
Coming to the line.
Game on, race 8.
Big on, boys.
He got starboard. Ainsley was still so early, he had to tack.
The Italian boat crossed the line early. They must slow down 50 meters.
20 knots here at the moment.
Yeah, it's just super low here.
Okay, boundary 35 away.
Split tack start at race number 8.
Italy OCS have about 20 meters to kill.
Good speed there.
20 meters, do it out.
20.
Yes.
Breeze is a little to the left.
The boys in chief umpire Richard Slater saying they've got 20 minutes to burn on that penalty for crossing the line early.
Italy, this is the umpires. Italy, you still have about 17 kill. Clear, clear, penalty complete.
Down.
Clear, go boys, go.
Copy that.
Okay, go board. My pit, 22s, I will.
Let's go back to the start. Let's try and figure out what went down.
This is going to be a tough one to figure out.
Got him just ahead of crossway.
Do that shortly. First cross coming. Race 8, Prada Cup final.
We're too close to try and tackle him here, unfortunately.
Got to be fast. Is he a duck or not?
Small duck, come fast.
Yeah, coming down. Yeah. Fast here.
He's pressing
and coming on the breeze now.
Should be on the breeze.
Nice there.
Nice.
Well, surely they got ahead. I don't know how they did it, quite frankly. In that start, they were in a really vulnerable spot. It looked like a port starboard to me. We'll try to get Richard Slater in here in a bit to talk about that whole pre-start. There were buttons being pushed, fouls being accused, and at the end of the day, INEOS got what they needed to get. They got ahead on that first cross. Let's see if they can hold them back. Here it is. Here's Luna Rossa on starboard, INEOS on port.
Yeah, I will fly that.
Boy, that's a tricky one for me. If they get in here, they get over the line early. We got Richard Slater with us right now. Richard, talk about this port starboard.
Yeah, Ken, we had a GBR were able to cross, and then Italy at the last, after they tacked, altered course up, which means they've got to give them the room to keep clear. So we treat it as in our terms, a Rule 16 protection on GBR.
So, Richard, aren't they allowed to start the race, though? Couldn't they head up to start the race?
I'm not understanding your question fully, Kenny. They've allowed...
Well, watch, they have to turn up to go start at the pin here. So aren't they allowed to turn up and start the race at the pin? They don't have to go below the starting line, do they?
They had to go through... No, they had to actually go through the line, which they did. So it was... They started correctly, and then Italy's attack, or change of course, was what suddenly made it become a collision course.
Okay. Well, we've had a change of scenery here while we were gone trying to figure out that start. The fast boat all of a sudden got fast again, Shirley.
I think they'll go straight.
Just want to try and build a little killer.
Okay, yeah. Performance from now on, guys.
Okay, we're looking 1 and then left here. Building in 10.
So, despite the penalty, despite the protest, despite being behind, look who's leading on the first leg of race number 8. Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli.
Good pressure coming here. Little press again. Yeah. Getting a lefty. This looks good up there.
The British team needed to do more. I mean, a 50-meter head start. It's not going to be enough, Stephen.
My rake, my drop. Good tech.
Aero mode when you can, boys.
Well, we have been saying flawless, but the start was not flawless for Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli. Probably the first time in a long time as they head towards the top gate.
The Brits come back on starboard tack here. This is kind of a final shot at this. I hate to say that so early in the race, but...
Yeah, we can go right gate.
Once Luna Rossa gets away, they just tend to extend.
Yeah, no problem with it.
It looks like an easy cross at this stage coming into gate number 1.
So this is the top gate for the first time in race number 8 of the Prada Cup final. And it is Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli rounding the top gate for the first time. It's close, very close. But INEOS Team UK are going to have to be a lot closer. They're going to have to get past that very fast boat that's on its way down on the downward leg. INEOS around the top gate.
Your wheel. Okay. Okay, powering up. BFG taking this pressure down this boundary. Doesn't look light for him over there.
Yep. Keep pushing, boys.
Just looking at the race course now as they head downwind, it does look like the INEOS guys are heading towards more pressure as they get over here. Luna Rossa do look a little bit softer, so I'd expect it to close up just a little bit at this next intersection.
a little bit lighter breeze. 20 seconds, yeah. Good gains here, lads.
It sounds like the afterguard of INEOS agrees with you, Goody. And Nathan, down in the water, are you seeing kind of the same thing? Everything checking out?
Yeah, it does. It does seem like there's a click more breeze over on this side of the course. We're rumbling down the boundary right now, and it looked like INEOS will make an initial gain, but now they've jibed, and now they have to go across to that other side of the course, which is a little bit lighter. And towards the bottom of the course, you know, Prada's going to probably make a small gain. It's still pretty close, but it's hard to imagine that this isn't going to play out the way that the previous race played out, with Luna Rossa just slowly stretching out. Just really smooth manoeuvres on that first beat. They didn't seem stressed at all when they were behind. They just waited, let the boat speed do the work for them, and they're back in front again.
We're going to have to do something pretty special here, Jello. So.
Well, we heard the voice of skipper Ben Ainsley. We're going to have to do something special. They need some magic now.
Yeah, copy that. Pressure building.
Still like the pressure here, Killer.
Might be able to save a jibe on him here as well.
I think Nathan was right. There was no stress or panic on the Italian boat when they got that penalty.
Yeah, keep riding this out.
They won the start, they came back, they got the first cross, but we heard Giles Scott saying we're not far enough ahead to lee bow or to tack on them. All of a sudden you lose control. You let the fast boat split. We were talking about it before, Shirley, that as a tactician, you just love having a fast boat. Kind of make you look smart wherever you go.
Yeah, they needed a bit more distance there. Then they could have tacked on them and controlled them on the racetrack.
The other word you mentioned too, Kenny, that has been so important, control.
It's closed up. INEOS, more breeze. Look at the lead now. It's so close.
Downwind leg for the first time in the 8th race.
I don't think he's laying from the... No, he's not laying.
Not much in this, Nathan. Nice little close-up by you. That's not right off the British podium right now.
I think it was a bit. Yeah, it is getting closer, and it all comes down to the lay line at the bottom mark. If INEOS are laying here, which I can't tell from where I am, if they lay, they save a manoeuvre. If they have to jibe again, we're going to get a split at the bottom mark. So either way, good news for INEOS supporters right now.
Good pressure hit. Good gains, lads.
They are going to get a split here. No question about it. Remember, this is not the gate that they're going through right now. That was the start line.
Lay line on the box.
The actual gate is to the right side of our screen.
Just going left there, so you've got to be a little bit careful with this one.
My rudder. My trap.
Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli heading towards the bottom gate for the first time to complete 2 legs of 6.
Good pressure around here.
Not too much in this one.
Turning up now. 3.
You know that INEOS Team UK will not give up. They will hang in all the way. It was 12 seconds at the top gate. Have they made gains?
Little build, pressing.
12 seconds at the bottom gate. So yes, nothing in it, but they need more.
And the maneuverable boat is going to just stay right with them now. This is about as big a split as we're going to see for the rest of this race. Goody, you think you keep mentioning it? You think that bigger jib that INEOS is kind of forced to sail with to power that boat up? You think it's an advantage downwind, don't you?
Yeah, you can see that quite clearly from up above. They're just able to exit their jibes a little lower and just get lower wind angle. Big VMG gain, but on the flip side, as you're going upwind, there's quite a lot more drag through the tack, and then it takes a lot longer to accelerate afterwards. So you make a small gain downwind, but I think they might pay for it a little bit up this beat if they're forced into more tacks.
You leave out tacks, coming up. Just keep it at about 30
high mode here, which is fine.
Nathan, they like that left side of the race course. At least they don't mind that left side of the race course, do they?
Got an intersection 20 out.
Nah, it looks pretty obvious that Prada, Jimmy and Bruni are very keen to protect the left side of the course. It is probably a click windier over there, but it was also a great opportunity to tack on their competition, give them a bit of dirty air and try and gain a few more meters. They're definitely not leaving anything to chance out here, that's for sure.
Feels like race one of the Prada Cup finals when Luna Rossa were in complete control. Follow me, but we'll cover you all day.
They lose so little. I guess, Paul, what do you think the loss is, the net VMG losses in these tacks? Is it? I've been told that it could be as little as 5 meters once the breeze is up a bit. But in this lighter air, what do you think they lose every time they tack?
In this sort of breeze, the 8-10 knots, it goes up quite a lot. You ain't seen like a 60-meter loss at times. As soon as you're seeing those 12 knots, then yeah, you can get down to those very, very small losses of around 10 meters. But in these conditions, you'd expect if you have to hit another tack, it's going to be an extra 60, 70 meters. And that's if you execute one well.
Copy that. So we've got 30 any time here, I think.
It's building a bit of speed.
Yep.
Stand by.
Crossing. Ready?
2, 1. Board down. Turning. Okay, he's taxed.
Surely the Italians are going to just nail them right here. They're going to go right on top of them and force them back to the short side of the race course, which is the top of the race course, right where that boundary is. Sure enough.
Exactly.
On cue.
Running out of options here on this leg. Just watching the distance so slowly growing between them on this upwind leg.
It's nothing radical. That was really interesting when we were looking at the numbers of the last race, how the boat speeds are actually really similar. It's a little deeper downwind, a little higher upwind, especially upwind. There's no question. I know we keep repeating ourselves on that, but it is really, when you're match racing and you have that little bit of height, oh my goodness, it's like the keys to the candy shop. You know, it's gold. It's fantastic.
Well, the gold today will be the Prada Cup.
Just about with options back in the other lane.
And inside that cup will be a key to the America's Cup match. And at this particular point in time, it's favouring Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli, heading towards the halfway stage of this 8th race in the Prada Cup final 2021 on the Hauraki Golf.
A little soft out of this, boys.
Copy. My right, my drop.
Kind of like top left, though. Around it.
Yeah. Focus on performance here, guys. One and in left. Nothing to worry about. Coming up a little bit.
Calm, cool, and collected. But we've seen in the past where when Bruni sounds calm, his heart rate is actually going through the roof. We'll try to dig up some of these numbers right now and see how calm he actually is.
A good bite on him.
I've got to say one thing.
As he said in a message the other night, the Italians wear their heart on the sleeve.
Nothing to worry about. Confidence.
And Francesco's a true representative of that. We were joking earlier about Chris Brittle's heart rate and Francesco's heart rate being on a similar level when one's a grinder, the other's a helmsman. But you really see that flair for him. But he's coming across to the rest of the team, the cool, calm and collected, just settling everybody down.
Down to 90 on the 89 on the heart rate right now, Goody, and so it's actually almost kind of normal. You can see that 122 that we were seeing before. One and in for these guys right now, just one tacking in, and minimize these maneuvers as much as you can if you're the boat in front right now.
Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli about to get to the halfway stage of race number 8. They are 3 legs away from a race win and to be crowned the Prada Cup champions and official challenger for the America's Cup. Still 3 legs to go, though. They round the top gate and head down on leg number 4.
Little soft, and good reach to the mark.
INEOS Team UK heading to that top gate. They are now halfway through the race, but they are still the hunter.
Straight down in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Your wheel. Yep. Okay. Bring on. Close. 5. Your pitch.
A boat that, when it came out, Shirley, the INEOS boat, when it came out of the shed, the whole world kind of gasped. I mean, in a way, it's kind of interesting where the Prada boat has always looked like more of a boat to me. You know, the INEOS boat looks like, sure enough, a big influence by, let's say, a Mercedes Formula One team or something like that. I mean, just this crazy radical shape, these air tubes underneath that's feeding air somewhere into the boat from a windage standpoint. Just a radical hull shape that nobody's ever seen before. Just a crazy looking boat that may have an Achilles heel in light air, has had an Achilles heel in lighter air.
I mean, they have some incredibly smart people in all the teams, but, you know, they do have them in INEOS, and perhaps, Kenny, they just kind of ran out of time. When we look at the Italian boat here, the Challenger record, they have a few more months insight into what the boat was going to be, what the design was going to look like, and, you know, they're a more polished unit.
And when we talk about design, we have said this before. The difference between Luna Rossa's Boat 1 and the difference between Boat 2 was minimal. They felt from the get-go they had a boat that could perform. And it is.
Yeah, race committee, can we move the helicopter?
Thinking about going here, guys. Stand by. 3, 2, 1. More down.
Soft out of this, boys. Put up a power.
Nathan, you and I talked about this a while ago, how the same point that Shirley just brought out, how the two boats were so similar between Hull 1 and Hull 2 of the Prada team, where all the rest of the teams were radical changes from Hull 1 to Hull 2. It really shows they had that belief, that early belief in what they were doing, and really took a completely different tack as to how their evolution, their design evolution was going to happen.
Yeah, you're right, Ken. The fact that they've been able to just make refinements to Boat 1. You know, as you say, every other team's made huge changes to the hull shapes and things like that. And I think that comes back to the fact that they were involved in writing the protocol and the rule. They knew a lot more about what this America's Cup was going to look like than the other challengers, and so it's probably no surprise to them and the other teams that they had an advantage, and this advantage is actually being shown on the race course right now, and that's why in the America's Cup, being the challenger of record and working with the defender, writing the rule, gives you that advantage, and that's why they went after that hard. When Emirates Team New Zealand were in Bermuda racing, they'd already done the deal. They wanted to get that advantage so that they could challenge them when they came to Auckland, and here they are. They're looking very slick. That boat looks very nice. The sailing team's doing a great job, and we always talk about these events are not won at the events. They're won in the years and the lead up to it, and this is a classic example of years of development and years of hard work giving you tiny little gains that are resulting to meters around the race course.
And the meters are piling up right now, Shirley. You know, that slow trickle, that slow, painful death at this stage. It's not in big chunks ever. It's a meter at a time.
Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli applying the vice grips to INEOS Team UK. They are about to complete leg number 4 of 6 and start out on the upwind leg for the final time. It was 34 seconds at the top gate, and around they go again. But they're going around the cones in a learner's driver's course, and just really nice and simple.
Good pressure straight ahead.
We get tight over here, all the spectators are turned.
Might not be quick enough for this, Jake.
Interesting commentary, Nathan. They're talking about that outgoing tide that you pointed out before the first race over on the right-hand side of the race course where Luna Rossa is heading towards. That boats are turning on their anchors, on their moorings.
INEOS Team
You can see that
UK.
from down at the water. Sorry there, Stephen. Yeah, you can see it down on the water here. All the spectator boats have changed direction, so we're nearing peak flood at the moment, or peak ebb as you call it. The current's coming out, so small advantage to that right-hand side for the current. That's what Jimmy was referring to. But the wind still looks stronger on the left, so really it's a pretty even track.
10 seconds here, just building a bit.
It's amazing. The sailors aren't just thinking about what's happening inside the race course. They're using the spectators and anything else they can see out here as indicators on where they should be going around this course.
Okay, 23, pause. What do you think, Keller? It's pretty even, eh? A little bit on left to me.
Yeah, left.
A little bit for pressure. We'll do a sort of a looser cover here.
Yeah.
Just dig into this a bit more.
Now we have landing this left.
Stand by. 3, 2, 1. We'll take this.
Goody, you in the last America's Cup, you were in the Artemis team with Francesco Bruni. I mean, we've been so impressed with him here. He seems so cool. Very methodical, and seems to have the entire team with him. I mean, tell us a little bit about the man and how much this is going to be meaning to him.
I think this is going to mean the world to him and to Italy. He's a bit of a perfectionist. He breaks everything down. He's very analytical, but he's also very passionate. And this is the biggest change I've seen in him in this America's Cup from last time. Last time he's very passionate, very exuberant, and this time it just seems like a much quieter, more focused, and he's getting the job done. I'm sure once they cross the finish line of this race, we'll see a little bit more passion from him, but it's impressed me how he's got this cool, calm, collected side while they're racing at the moment. If we just look out to the west here, we can see that the defenders have just warmed up and taken a little break and just watching the scenes unfold in front of them.
For all the right reasons. Nathan, you sailed 49ers against Pietro Sabello a lot, the main trimmer tactician on Luna Rossa. All of a sudden, we're hearing Spithill call him Killer. Why did they call him Killer?
Kenny, that must be a new nickname. I've never heard that one before. As you say, Pietro and I have stood on the podium several times side by side in the 49er class. He's a fantastic sailor, and it's great to see him really getting involved. And I honestly think the more we hear of that voice, the better that boat's going. So maybe it's the killer instinct that's coming out in Pietro that's making all the difference at the moment.
They're slowly coming up now.
The lead sits at just over 300. Well, it keeps up ticking up a little bit. 367 metres right now in favour of Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli on the penultimate leg of race number 8.
Pressure.
It's more than just smelling the chance to challenge Emirates Team New Zealand now. I can use that cliche. They can probably taste it right now.
Like the top left, though, around the mark, Killer.
Yeah. Right, yeah, right now.
Okay, we'll hold now and just righty then.
Yeah.
Just do one and then wheelie jibe.
Yeah.
Good pressure over here. 3, 2, 1.
We questioned at length, Shirley, at the beginning of this whole circuit, the two helmsperson situation, and frankly, a lot of people thought it was an insane idea. Others thought it was creative and maybe the coolest idea they'd seen in a long time. I don't think anybody was in between. Anybody said, yeah, I think it might kind of work. It was very polarizing, wasn't it?
It seemed so flawed in those early round robins, didn't it? They made, mistake after mistake, but saying that, there's 2 months of refinement, plenty of time on the water, plenty of time in the simulator, and now it's working well. They're a solid unit.
And we're talking about they're coming up against a defender that has a single helm and men going across to left to right as Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli heading to the top gate for the final time. They are pointing the nose of that beautiful boat downwind and they're heading home. And you know what they're heading home for? The prize, the Prada Cup.
My runner, Sevens.
This guy Spithill's been there a few times before. I think he has been in the America's Cup in the last 3 cups, winning 2 of 3. How's my stats there, Shirley? He's
won 2 America's Cups, both with Oracle. But he's been competing as a skipper in the America's Cup since his early 20s. He's
2000.
Yeah, he's been a lifetime career's work in this cup.
For the final time, INEOS Team UK round the top gate and head home. But they won't be heading home to a victory parade. They'll be heading home to ask questions. What happened? Pre-Christmas, they were nowhere. Post-Christmas, they were everywhere. They were suddenly the favourites. And now, on a Sunday afternoon in the Hauraki Gulf, it's going to be over.
Boundary drive here, lads.
Just hold on boundary.
20 seconds.
Yep.
Stephen, you know, we're not supposed to be partisan on this host broadcast feed, and whilst all my respect and congratulations go to Jimmy and Bruni and the team at Luna Rossa, I'm sad to see this, to see the British team exit the cup at this stage. They've been through a lot. We've lived it with them. They put in the hours. And we've talked about Ben and Giles, but there's a lot of other guys in that team. Nick Hutton, Freddie Carr, the real foot soldiers of campaigns like this. And this will hurt. This is painful for all those guys on board. We heard from Sir Jim Radcliffe in yesterday's broadcast, and my hope is a bright future for this team. They've brought in new talent and guys like Bryden Mon doing the main sheet. Giles Scott, we've heard him step up massively. And I really hope that this is the beginning of a long cup journey for this very, very talented unit.
So a somber moment on board, but it's not done yet. The race is not finished, but now this is all about one team, one boat. Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli, the challenger of record, extending the lead on INEOS Team UK in race number 8 of the Prada Cup Final 2021 on the Waitemata Harbour, framed by a spectator fleet that have been treated to once again a slick, competent performance. Precision at its best. One little mistake in the first race, going upwind on attack, didn't matter. They adjusted in the blink of an eye and kept on going. And now on the final leg, they're heading to the match.
Got to start thinking ahead here. Emirates Team New Zealand, what are they thinking? They're as Goody said, they're sitting out there on the water watching this race, probably parked right now. They've been creating strategies against both of these boats, most likely. Well, it's strategy A, strategy B. Well, guess what? It's strategy A. We're going against Prada. We know they're great in this light stuff. We as sailing fans, as sport fans, are just hoping for a great match.
Bigger pressure.
The Challenger Series is all about, you know, the time spent creating, you know, the best performing team. And I guess we look forward to seeing if it's good enough.
And that could be the key in front of you right there.
Nice
Twin
one, boys.
helmsman,
Come on.
who finally figured out if you
Time
get
to
it
high
right,
five.
you find your communication, you can sail this boat fast.
Sì, siamo italiani. Che cavolo.
Here we go. It's a
Che
done
cavolo
deal
ho detto,
in 2021. For only the second time in their history, Luna Rossa will make the match and be the official challenger for the America's Cup and take on Emirates Team New Zealand. Only the second time the challenger of record has made the match. The last time, 1972. Spittle, Bruni Sibello have done the job. They're going to the big show.
Grandi ragazzi. Bravi, bravo Jimmy. Bravo Jimmy.
Go. Great work, boys.
Bravo Killer. Bravi tutti tranne Voltolini. Autorini e Pidgeotto.
I think we saw some high fives.
Vai ragazzi.
There was whooping, there was high fives. They've been so cool throughout this entire series. But not anymore.
It was great to watch all their heads popping up out of... It's probably the first time they've seen a race course, all the grinders there. They pop their heads out just to see that finish and take it all in.
And for INEOS Team UK, 170 years of hurt continues.
It's going to turn up here.
They are done. 4 years. Training, development, pain physically, pain mentally. And for that man who has led this team so proudly, INEOS Team UK
Sorry, guys.
are out.
Not going to happen. Fucking good effort, though.
Smooth, Mike. Good work, brother. Oh, good. Oh, good.
Puttana. Forza Palermo! Forza Palermo!
Right, boys, let's spin up and get these sails down so we can head in for a beer.
Bravo!
And there you go, the man with the boxing kangaroo says it all. Time for a beer, and why not? Rossa Prada Pirelli win race number 8 by 56 seconds and win the Prada Cup with a scoreline of 7 race wins to 1 against INEOS Team UK.
Well, the pre-start here was something that we were hoping for. Maybe a little too late. But I'll tell you what, it was a strange one. A hook by Prada. An incredible breezed stealing move by INEOS. INEOS knew they had to do something special, do something a little crazy, and I'll tell you, it was crazy. I'm still not quite sure I know exactly what happened, especially in this situation right here. Seemed like a port star to me, but INEOS got away with it, and Prada was over early. Prada's over early. They have to drop back. Sure enough, that first cross to INEOS, and surely we absolutely knew the first cross had to be to INEOS. Here is that situation, port starboard, but it was clear across according to the umpires, and off we go. INEOS gets that first cross. They desperately needed the first cross.
But it's so tight, not enough room for them to tack back and really control that first leg.
The lead goes back to that slippery black and red boat around gate 1. We kept talking about the fact that they never lost their demeanor, their composure going up, even when they were behind on Rossa, and they just slowly but surely pulled it away.
A little soft out of this, boys.
Meter by meter, never taking a big chunk, never taking a big chance. It's really the ability when you're in a fast boat, right, Shirley? This is how you play. This is textbook.
They sailed cleanly and smartly throughout that. Didn't really have to do anything special. And finally, time for a high five and a whoop and a celebration.
And why wouldn't you if you're one of the meat pack in there, those grinders? They have been worked hard, and now it's time to celebrate. We will bring you the mum champagne moment, although Jimmy Spittle probably wants a beer moment, but that's okay by us. There are your challenges, your official challenges for the 36th America's Cup. They will face Emirates Team New Zealand starting March 6.
Yes, coming.
Come over to the good side, mate.
Yeah. To the bad side.
On board, the Prada Cup winners, Rossa Prada Pirelli. Official challenges now for the 36th America's Cup. Jimmy Spittle, Francesco Bruni. Lads, congratulations. How does it feel, Jimmy?
Yeah, not too bad, mate. Pretty good day at the office.
That's the best you can offer. Okay, Francesco, how does it feel? And you must want to say something to your home nation. They'll be loving this.
Fantastico! È bellissimo! È bellissimo! We are different. Australian and Italians, very different.
We've been waiting for this emotion the whole time. You've been so calm, cool, and collected. We knew this was the real you.
Jimmy, what was the difference today?
Oh, I think we really tried to minimise the mistakes, and the boat was going very well, I thought. Pietro made a great call with the mainsail before the race, and race one we went with a little bit bigger jib, which I think really paid dividends. And again, just tried to keep the mistakes down, just keep calm, make good decisions, and let the boat do the work.
Francesco, we can hear behind you what it means to this huge team of people, both on the water and ashore.
Oh, you're sailing, mate.
Francesco, just give us a glimpse of feeling of what today means, not just to you guys, but to the whole Luna Rossa team and the fans back in Italy.
It feels great. It's a great day for us. It's a great day for Luna Rossa. It's a great day for Italy. And we are very, very happy. It was a tough finals, yeah, we are in for a good fight for the America's Cup now.
Jimmy, Ben's listening in. You guys have sailed together. Have you got words for Ben? Because it's happy days for you, tough day for Ben and the crew.
Oh, look, I've had definitely in my career probably some of the best racing ever against Ben. Obviously some good ones with him as well. But he's definitely one of the toughest competitors in the world. Joel Scott as well. And yeah, I'd have to mention my old mate Joey Newton. This is the first campaign in 20-something years that we haven't done one together. And yeah, it was very, very good racing going against those guys. So yeah, really pay respect to them.
Ben, I know you're listening in. Do you have a response to Jimmy's kind words?
Hey, well, no, first I've got to say well done to Luna Rossa and well done Italy. No, it's a big deal in Italy getting into the America's Cup final again. So congratulations to the team, to Jimmy and Keko and all of the boys. You know, they sailed brilliantly and you know, deserve to take the final. So yeah, hats off to them. We're obviously, you know, disappointed we can get through, but we'll have to go away, go back to the drawing board and see what we can do.
Hey, Ben, we just saw Jim Ratcliffe come on board. Can you just give the world a little bit of a feel for the support that he gave you?
Just asking me about you.
Through some exceptional highs and lows, right? Real highs and lows that this program has gone through. Just give us a view of how the leader, the leader, how supportive he was of the program through thick and thin.
Yeah, Jim's been amazing, and John and Andy and the whole of the INEOS group and INEOS Sports. And it's been really fascinating for us to be alongside some, you know, really impressive sports teams such as the Grenadiers and the cycling team and Mercedes Formula One team and Eliud Kipchoge, some real high performers. And also, you know, Jim and the teams, you know, it's not just the financial backing, but it's the approach that they take to, you know, why they're so successful in the business world. And it's that, you know, attention to detail and a rigor and determination that we share in the sporting world. So, yeah, they've been amazing backers and partners, and yeah, we can't give them enough thanks for that over the last 4 years.
Ben, I'd like to hold you there for just a moment and come back to you in just a moment, because we have to go across to Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli right now for the Mum Champagne moment, and we'll do that right now. As you can see, the bottles of Mum Champagne are out, and this is the moment that signals for a start that you are looking at the Prada Cup winners in 2021.
About time, mate. About time, about time.
That'll do it. There's your Mum Champagne moment.
Oh, fucking goggles. Oh, goggles.
Well, we're seeing true Italian passion here. They are enjoying this, and why wouldn't they? They have been pretty much flawless in a 7-1 victory over INEOS Team UK. Just the second time in their history they make the match. Can they win it? That will be the question. We know Emirates Team New Zealand was sitting alongside the racecourse, taking a look, saying, okay, this is what you got. There you can see Max Serena swigging the bottle of Mum right now. He's the shore skipper, key component of this campaign for Luna Rossa. How this must feel It's one word, great. Let's just go back to Ben Ainsley. We were going to go back to Ben Ainsley. We're not going to go back to Ben Ainsley. So, this is it.
All right,
Shirley,
boys,
Ken.
let's get home.
Well, I know how big sailing. I've sailed on a couple of fantastic Italian teams over the last 5 years, and I know how important this sport is in Italy, to go all the way back to 92 in San Diego, and I mean, there's a real history. The success of the Luna Rossa program, of the Prada Luna Rossa program, is really, it's unbelievable from a challenger standpoint. They're back again, Shirley. This shouldn't be a surprise, I guess.
You're right, Ken. In a way, a bit like in New Zealand, where everybody knows about the America's Cup, it's the same in Italy. They know the names, Prada and Luna Rossa. They're synonymous with a great sports team, and that whole nation they will be standing up in their living rooms, in their pajamas right now, cheering for this incredible team.
I thought the reaction from Francesco Brini was priceless. It said everything about what it meant to him as an Italian. And Max Serena has said this whole regatta, it would be so cool for him to be part of an Italian team to win the America's Cup.
But very quickly, it's going to switch back into game mode. You'll find out that the leadership of this team will let this celebration happen tonight, and maybe late into tonight. But this is going to be a serious team that thinks they have a chance to win the America's Cup.
We hear so much about what Emirates Team New Zealand have got as a boat, as a package, as a platform. We'll start asking many, many questions now. Is this the boat that can win the America's Cup? Is it going to be quick enough? We keep hearing about the speed of Emirates Team New Zealand. But first of all, let's just confirm the standings. Let's just remind you of what has happened over 4 race days on the Hauraki Gulf, the Waitemata Harbour. And look at that. It's as simple as that. 5-0, 5-1, 7-1. Bang, 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 bang. It's like
we thought this was going to be a close series. We couldn't pick somebody. These guys found yet another new gear, and that has to make Emirates Team New Zealand nervous.
I think in the end, Kenny, INEOS had a weak spot, and it became so weather dependent.
Let's just a reminder how they all got to this point, because this is what it's all about. They had to go through the Challenger Series. They didn't want to go through the semi-finals. Look who's in front of them, sitting out on the course, tooling up and doing their business. That is the defender of the 36th America's Cup, Emirates Team New Zealand. Just reminding them, probably did a little circle around saying, hello, guess who you've got to come and beat? Us.
Yeah, we're practicing already.
And this is how they did it, and it was quite clear. I think it was Jimmy Spindler in one of the press conferences. We didn't want to be in the semi-finals, but they were in the semi-finals, and they beat American Magic. Then they got to the Prada Cup final, which is now complete. And to repeat what you said, Ken, we all thought it was going to be the tightest in the history of the America's Cup. In the end, the simple answer was no, it wasn't.
11-1 over the last 12 races.
Well,
11-1.
11-1. That says it all. So just a reminder, we are going to have to take a wee break for many people around the world, but we are going to stay on air and bring you the interviews as they come into dock from both teams, and also the presentation of the Prada Cup. So there is a lot still to go on off the water of the Waitemata Harbour. But that team in front of you right now, Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli, the boat's called Luna Rossa. They are going to the big show. They are going to challenge Emirates Team New Zealand for the 36th America's Cup. Will it be close? We hope so, because there's lots of characters to talk about, and we cannot wait. The sense of relief, Kenny, must be huge. The endorphins would have gone crazy at the top of that. And then now let's have a quick drink, and there it is. Up she goes. The Prada Cup flag.
4 years working to hoist that flag.
Challenger Take a look, Emirates Team New Zealand.
Yeah.
We're coming for you.
Here comes Emirates Team New Zealand, probably going to come by and do a flyby at about 48 knots in a second.
As you hear, I got that wrong. It's winner. Well, speaking of flybys, there is the defender, Emirates Team New Zealand. They did it yesterday as well. Just having a little play. They were on the race course before the two boats raced the last races of the Prada Cup final, and up she hoists. Winner, 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 chicken dinner, as they say. And, well, it'll probably be a chicken fettuccine or something like that or whatever, but they deserve it. They deserve it. I know deserves a funny old word, the word of sport, but they have done the job, and they did it beautifully.
And the good sportsmanship, we'd be remiss to not talk about the sportsmanship of the INEOS team and Sir Ben, but hey.
You think finally Bruni's going to have a big night?
Finally brooding. Finally we saw the guy that we all knew was there. We heard Paul Goodison and Nathan Outteridge talk about this Italian, this hot Italian from time to time, but he seemed so reserved and so in control. He's back.
well, let's go to Nathan Outteridge. Well, Nathan, it's done. We have a challenger for the America's Cup. It's Rossa Prada Pirelli. What do you make of it?
Yeah, they sound very impressive, and you know, I've been sitting in the TV boat right next to Rossa the whole time since the finish, and you know, I worked with Francesco Bruni with the Artemis program last time around. He was our reserve driver, and we had many battles in the pre-start, many battles, you know, two-boat testing, and he's a fantastic character. And I just couldn't believe up until about 5 minutes ago how relaxed and calm he's been. He's a fiery Italian, and I've been on the receiving end of that so many times when we're in Bermuda training. And he just looked over at me before, gave me a wink, and started climbing up the backstay. You can see he is excited. He is very happy. And man, he should be really proud of what he's done with that entire team. It's great to see, and you know, they've got 2 weeks now till they get to do it all against the Kiwis.
Paul Goodison in the air and our helicopter. Well, first of all, I want your thoughts on Rossa and their chances against Emirates Team New Zealand, who we really don't know too much about, and also thoughts on the INEOS campaign and how Sir Ben has run this campaign beautifully.
I was wondering how long it was going to take to see that bit of enthusiasm from Francesco. He's done a good job of bottling that up for the last couple of... No, just thinking about the Challenger Series, I think the preparation from all the racing is going to put Rossa in a great position. They're going to be really sharp from the racing. You see their record going through the semi-finals and then the finals. They've only lost one race. It's incredible, and that wasn't by a big margin. They're going to be in really good shape. But you never know about the speed. We all mentioned that the America's Cup is won by the fastest boat. And you look at Emirates out here right now, they're looking pretty slick. They're looking pretty fast. But is it going to be the racing that lets them down? It'll be only time will tell. And then I feel for the INEOS guys, it's a bad position to be in. They've had their highs, they've had their lows. It's some incredible work to turn around the pre-Christmas regattas where they were in a different boat, and then to come back and to win the round robins and to go straight to the final. They've done an incredible campaign, and they should all be really proud of the work they've put in. But at the end of the day, they kind of got beat by a faster boat. You can see that the Prada boat was sailed extremely well, but the piece of kit they had is really good in these conditions. And it'll be interesting to see if the Kiwis with their smaller foils can put a fight up against the Italians in these conditions. We all know pre-Christmas how strong the New Zealand boat was. It's going to be a super exciting final series.
Is it too early, Nathan, to start talking about the practice, the race toughness of Italy versus maybe the vulnerability of Peter Burling in the pre-starts? Is it too early? I don't think it's ever too early. That's my opinion.
No, Ken, it's exactly the right time. You know, we have a winner of the Prada Cup final, and for the next 2 weeks, all we're going to talk about is which boat is going to be better prepared. Is it the team that's done all the racing, all the training? They look really good in all their pre-starts. They look really smooth in their maneuvers. And we've been watching them. And we don't know much about Team New Zealand. Every time we come out, you know, whenever I come out on the water in the TV boat, all I want to do is watch that Kiwi boat. I want to know what they're up to, because we get to see these guys enough. But Team New Zealand with their smaller foils, Goody mentioned those foils being smaller. I think they're somewhere in the realm of 30% smaller. So if they can be as fast as Prada in sub 10 knots, I'd be shocked. But if they can be and be competitive in the light air, then imagine how fast they're going to be when it's breezy. It's the question that's on everyone's mind. Is the boat speed going to be the same? Is it going to be different? Is it the race practice that's going to win this racing? I think what we saw in the Prada Cup final is the faster boat will win so long as they don't make any mistakes. You know, Jimmy Spittle, Francesco Bruni sailed great, the whole team. You know, we talk about 2 people. There's a lot more people in that team. We all know that, but they sailed really well and they had a quicker boat. 2 weeks' time, which one's the faster boat? Well, we're going to try and find that out over the next 10 days, but no one's really going to know until the 6th of March.
I could tell you one thing, Stephen. The first press conference, Jimmy Spithill will say, I would have much rather raced this whole time for practice, and Burling's going to say, I would have much rather been out testing the whole time. So the rhetoric will begin, and the rhetoric will fully encompass exactly what their program has had the availability to do. These guys haven't had the chance to race where the other guys have. Now, have they gotten fast enough to literally, like we saw in that last race, sail around the competition? That's what Luna Rossa got fast enough to be able to sail around the competition.
Let's go back to INEOS Team UK. Giles Scott is waiting to have a wee chat. Giles, commiserations. Your initial thoughts on how this has unfolded in the Prada Cup?
Oh, yeah, you know, obviously we're massively disappointed to be to go out in this fashion, but you know, I think we'll certainly hold our heads high. We said before that last race that, you know, we wanted to come at them and swing hard in the pre-start, and I think we did that, and you know, we took it to them as much as we could. Just unfortunately, in conditions we had today, we just didn't have enough to stay ahead.
Giles, we talked before this series started about how even we thought the boats were. We did. We as the people kind of looking from the outside. Did you guys have a feeling that you still were pretty vulnerable in the light air, or did you think it was going to be closer than this?
No, I think we've been pretty acutely aware of that weakness from sub 11 knots. You know, I feel like we've done a real good job as an organisation as a whole to really bridge that gap as much as we can. But you know, it wasn't enough. The Luna Rossa boats geared up really well for the light breeze, and you know, the majority of this series has been sailed in moderate to light wind. So yeah, I suppose we're bitterly disappointed, but unfortunately not overly surprised with the way that it's panned out.
Giles, I know these moments are always hard moments, but when you look at the campaign and the amount of time and effort that has gone in, and personally for you, and your relationship with Ben, which has been so critical to the success of this boat to a certain point, I mean, do you want to go again? Does this thing just consume you?
Yeah, it does. It's you know, it's the America's Cup. It's a fascinating thing to watch and observe, and it's even more amazing to be a part of. You know, I certainly hope personally that I'm not done with America's Cup sailing. I think, you know, as I say, we can all hold our heads up high with the effort and you know, our little turnaround that we've had in our performance. And yeah, sailing with Ben and all the guys and working with everyone in the INEOS family has been a real pleasure. Yeah, certainly got nothing but fond memories, and it's been amazing boats to sail. So yeah, very you know, it'd be way better if we'd come out winning, but wasn't to be this time.
Yeah, sport's a crazy thing. Just one final thought. We know you have thousands of fans at home that will be sitting up in the early hours of the morning watching this. Have you a message, before we let you go, do you have a message for those fans that just love Britannia?
Yeah, I mean, I think, you know, this iteration of the America's Cup is You know, it's pushed the boundaries again. It seems to never fail to do this. You know, we've had an amazing following back in the UK. Sorry we couldn't do a bit better, but the support back home means so much. And yeah, we're, you know, from here we can do nothing but look forward. So yeah, on to the next one.
Giles, thanks for your time. Your access for the whole team throughout this campaign has been exemplary. I suppose the only thing you can do is go and have a pint, buddy.
All right, thank you very much.
Giles Scott, key man, tactician with Ben Ainsley on board INEOS Team UK. They will not be challenging Emirates Team New Zealand. It will be Rossa Prada Pirelli. But let us remind you about their campaign in this 36th America's Cup, that of INEOS Team UK.
They may have come here looking to reverse the course of history, but right now, the British boat, well, they're struggling.
Still got no board down on this side.
What a way to start this Challenger Series.
This is a really, really big moment for this whole program and all the effort that's gone into getting this boat competitive.
It's definitely the same boat. It's just had quite a few modifications.
INEOS Team UK win Prada Cup Race 1 and get the first points on the board.
Okay, awesome job, guys. Well done, guys.
Nice work, guys.
2, 1.
This is far from over yet, so whilst we've won a couple of races, this is just the beginning. We've got a long road ahead of us, and we've got to keep our heads down, keep focused, and keep on that journey.
We are away in racing in the second round-robin phase. INEOS Team UK looking to go 3-0.
When you sail with the best, you have to make sure that you can step up and do your part.
Awesome effort, lad. Nice work, boys.
Great sailing.
Tag.
Board down now, board down now.
Board going down.
If anyone thought INEOS was going to have trouble, think again. They look strong.
Nice work, lads.
Get it up, get the bow up, get it ripping.
It's on in some of the most challenging conditions we have seen to date.
Starboard! Starboard!
They're trying to set him up on a port starboard.
Protest.
INEOS Team UK go through to the Prada Cup final.
Just been an incredible 3 days through this first round robin phase. And from where we were a couple of weeks ago, the team's pulled out just about every stop possible.
It is on. Prada Cup Finals 2021.
Okay, he's early.
INEOS Team UK had a bit of a punch to the gut in race 1.
Go hard, guys, go hard.
Coming down.
Don't go too early, don't go too early. Up, go. But you came down too much, mate.
Copy.
Can't do that.
We know we're up against really tough competition. That was our expectation.
All right, guys. Good effort. Wasn't going to happen today. Just got to keep pushing.
So we're just got to go out, sail well, sail hard, and we can do it.
The wind is up and it's game on again.
This jockeying by INEOS happened a little late. They're in a tough spot here right now.
The starts are getting closer as the teams are sort of figuring out a few set plays.
Off we go. Takeoff time, catch an air. If you're in front, you're in control.
And our starts weren't good enough. We've got to turn it around. We'll move heaven and earth to do that.
5-0 and left INEOS Team UK in their wake. The Prada Cup final is far from over, and they will bag their first win in this final.
Okay, turn it up there.
INEOS Team UK on the tow back. You can see at the back of the boat there, the stern, there it is, Sir Ben Ainsley and Sir Jim Ratcliffe, the two knights talking about what's next. And we had an interview with Sir Jim Ratcliffe yesterday in our coverage, and I got the feeling, Kenny Reid, that he'll go again.
Yeah, he's looking to see what the next edition looks like. I think everybody thinks these boats are here to stay for a while.
He likes them. He likes them.
Yeah, I think everybody likes them. When you see them in person, it's just something special, like you've never seen before. But, you know, everybody has their concerns, but it's people like this who have always made the America's Cup, and they always will make the America's Cup, so we hope that he sticks around for a long time.
You're a sailor. You know how they feel. What will Ben Ainslie be feeling right now?
Well, that's a great question, and it's really different for every team, because sometimes you just feel the end is coming. Other times it hits you like a ton of bricks. I think these guys have felt like the end was coming.
Yeah, I think you're right. And when the press conference yesterday, I think the key moment when he said about the wind range, and they basically said they weren't much of a chance under 12 or 13. It's gone that way as we think about the challenger, the winner of the Prada Cup. Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli. What a campaign they have had.
High mode is good.
And they're away.
Prada's waylaid at this stage.
Not a great fairway there with Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli. We see them touch down.
They're struggling with control going around that weather mark.
Fact is, those guys did a better job, and they deserve the win.
Round robin 1, race number 3, Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli are up and racing. American Magic still not on their foils. Luna Rossa get their first point on the board.
We are very, very happy. It's one of those races that you can win or lose very easily.
Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli, INEOS Team UK, away in some of the most challenging conditions we have seen to date.
Clearing transom 2-1 now.
This is a race and a half.
The British are sailing very well, but we know that we can beat them.
American Magic looks strong today.
They do, Stephen, and to me it looks like they've got a little bit of extra.
American Magic! My
And
goodness!
they are over!
So Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli will get their second win.
At the end of this weekend, Prada, who is challenged for the America's Cup a record 5 times, and New York Yacht Club, who held the America's Cup for 132 straight years, one of them's going home.
Today were the hardest condition we ever sailed these boats.
Whoa!
Skidding sideways, skidding hard sideways.
It will be Luna Rossa against INEOS Team UK in the Prada Cup final on the Hauraki Gulf.
Nice one. Now INEOS, boys. Well, it's payback time. We are those British guys from the round robins.
Prada Cup Finals, Race 1, 2021, and it's Luna Rossa in command from the go.
It was really a race against the clock to give us a package that was reliable and fast.
Nice, boys.
Luna Rossa takes first blood against INEOS Team UK.
Today we had a very good package.
And it's a double for Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli. They get the job done.
We need to think about the next race. Stay focused because things can turn around very quickly here.
Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli go 4-0. They are now only 3 races away from meeting the defender.
Board down.
What a start! This is a big moment. 5-0.
Nice.
Clean start. Game on. Race 6 of the Prada Cup final. INEOS Team UK stretching the lead on Luna Rossa. And for the first time in the final, Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli get beaten.
We certainly have a few things from both races we'll be reviewing and coming back tomorrow stronger.
So there's the Auckland Harbour tugboat and the water cannon waiting for Luna Rossa to come back into their dock here in Auckland City, and why wouldn't they be happy? Luna Rossa fans know they're a step closer to potentially winning the America's Cup. Can you imagine what's going back in the early hours of Italian morning?
They're back there. They're already starting. What are the theories? Come on, what are the theories? Like, is this revenge Spit Hill versus Emirates Team New Zealand from Bermuda? Is this race practice versus speed training? You know, everybody's going to start coming up with their theories. Let's start talking about the next one, man.
Well, we got two. Okay, well, from what we know Rossa Prada Pirelli is a quick AC75, but we keep hearing, and we're starting to see that Te Rehotai, the defender of Emirates Team New Zealand, is a very quick boat. There is so much chatter about how quick Emirates Team New Zealand are.
Well, we think they are. We certainly think they are.
Right.
Yeah. That's what they've been fighting for 4 years. For 4 years, they've been going after this trophy, right? They all have their highs and lows. These programs are brutal when it comes to highs and lows, but you got to figure out a way to get through them, to somehow manage your time, manage your team, and get through these highs and lows. And they've done it best. It's really phenomenal. And not only have they done it best this time, but they've done it best a bunch of times.
The challenging yacht club, Secola Vela Sicilia, they will be up in the early hours thinking, how cool is this?
Yeah, in all of Europe, this will be a big deal, a huge deal, and great for the country of Italy.
So let's go back under the water with Nathan, who's probably heading in and getting close to the dock as well. I mean, we're seeing scenes of delight here from the Prada camp. There is no second, and that's what they'll be thinking as they start to focus on the match. But we keep talking about quick boats. You do a bit of foil boarding out around the back paddock and where you can find Emirates Team New Zealand. Give us your insight. How quick do you think they are?
I'll come to that question in a second. We're just at the dock at the moment. I'm not dodging it, don't worry, I have an answer, but we're just at the dock at the moment in the camera cat here. We've got all the Italian friends and family down on the dock, and they are celebrating like they've won the Prada Cup. They are very happy. You know, the Italians love a good celebration, and they're celebrating. The boat's just about to come around the corner here right now. You know, they've been working for this for a long time, and, you know, if we remember back to December, even in the round robins, it wasn't looking likely. You know, it was never obvious that this was going to be the boat that was going to challenge for the America's Cup. And while I'm sitting here, I'm looking over to the left, and there's Emirates Team New Zealand base, and very quiet over there. It looks like business as usual for them. They're still out there training. And to come to your question about who's quicker, well, I have been out on the water a lot over the last year. I've watched Emirates Team New Zealand sail nearly every session they're out there. They're leaving no stone unturned at the moment. They're testing different foil configurations. They're testing all the different sails. I even saw them put the batwing on the other day. They chopped up an old main.
You don't have to bring that one up.
They've tested that. I saw them out there this morning on a Code Zero. So we haven't seen anyone race with a Code Zero yet. I can guarantee you one thing. Team New Zealand are going to test everything. They haven't had the race practice, but their goal will be to be as fast as they can. They've seen this Challenger Series unfold. They've seen how good Jimmy Spittle and Francesco Bruni and the whole crew have been racing, and they're going to be prepared for that.
You know, Nathan, so you're still sitting. I'm going to jump in here because you're still sitting on that fence. Answer the question. You know a quick boat when you see one.
Team New Zealand is a faster boat. It looks like it's been a faster boat, and I'm going to say when we come to the match coming up, and I don't want to break everyone's hearts right now, but I think Team New Zealand are going to have an advantage in terms of boat speed.
What a killjoy. I mean, here he is in the middle of a party.
I was about to bring up the wow.
Stephen? Are you happy?
I am happy.
You got set up.
Off the fence. He got off the fence.
Yeah, he got set up.
I'm inexperienced in this world, mate. I'd much prefer to be racing with these guys. Looking forward to the Burling versus Spittle battle coming up.
The revenge, Spit Hill versus Emirates Team New Zealand.
It's a narrative you could go down, particularly, but you got to remember, we can't forget Francesco Bruni. We can't forget Pietro Sabella, who, when you think about the way they have readjusted this campaign by getting their communication right, then introducing a greater role for Pietro Sabella, that, you know, that could be the magic formula.
You have to morph, right? Every day you have to get better, you have to get faster, leave no stone unturned. Thinking about Mr. Bertelli, he's back in Italy watching this right now. First of all, congratulations to him and the whole Prada community back there. And imagine what a shame it is that he's not here celebrating with his team right now. He's back in Italy.
There was a suggestion some time ago, that if they made the match, we might just see Mr. Bertelli down under.
Well, he better be on a plane here soon, because
well,
I know there's a small hotel somewhere around the Auckland area waiting for him for approximately 14 days.
Well, he would have to actually get a spot in a hotel first. So that might be an impossibility.
It's great to see this, isn't it? It's just great to see. There's going to be lots of hugs. It's just great. It's emotional for the family. Remember the families, everybody. The families take the brunt of this because they're wearing the same emotions, even more so very often than the sailors. The sailors can go out and work it out of their system, work out their frustrations. The families have to kind of hear about it every day. And it's really, really hard on the families through these whole entire programs.
Well, they uplift their life from their homes. And come here, your daughter, who's what now, 23 or thereabouts?
Yeah.
She was a young child back in the day and going to school in Auckland.
She did. No shoes on and learning Maori words and living in Auckland. Now the families, I feel best for the families because I know how hard it is. I know how much they've gone through.
Unbridled joy on the dock of Rossa Prada Pirelli and their compound. They are your Prada Cup champions in 2021. They have earned the right to challenge the defender of the 36th America's Cup, Emirates Team New Zealand. You know, if you're Max Serena, you just go, you know what? Let's just take a couple of days off.
No, not
Let's
ever.
come on.
Nope.
Nope.
Not a chance.
Not a chance.
No.
The tricolore flying proudly, the Italian flag. The onshore crew, we must remember them too, because we've still got another race series to go. It's called the America's Cup. But the work the shore crew have done to this boat. I come back to what we talked about during, I think it was race number 7. This boat wasn't anything flash, right? It was nothing flash through the round robin series, even the semi-finals. But, you know, look at them. The gains they have made.
You always had a feeling they had a bunch of toys in the toy box. They were the last to put their new foils on. Their sails just looked like special, like we've never seen before. Really, just the whole package, and let's just soak in the emotion here.
If you are up in the middle of the night in Italy watching this, I wouldn't be surprised if there are tears of joy, because this is a special moment for the Yacht Club, the Challenger Records Yacht Club. It'll go long into the morning and long into the day of the celebrations, but it's only one step. And I remember an interview that Terry Hutchinson from American Magic gave us earlier in the piece when he won what it was then, the Louis Vuitton Cup, and they said, his wife said, we didn't come here to win that. So temper your celebrations, but enjoy the moment.
Enjoy the moment. Good for all of these people, designers, engineers, family, friends, relatives, shore crew, the people with the grinders out in the middle of the night, the people that just simply made this boat faster every day. Max Serena, CEO of the program. Might be somebody swimming here shortly.
Hey! I think that was Max Serena.
They just drowned somebody on the way through.
That's the skipper.
That's also a rookie move. You never stand near the skipper. First of all, you take your phone out of your pocket and never stand near the skipper.
Max Serena was quite open in this past week about how He would love to be out there sailing, but he knows these things are beasts to fly, and he feels for it every time. But this is an incredibly important moment for Max Serena. He said to us a long time ago, he would love to be on an Italian boat to take the America's Cup back home. They got a little bit closer today. 7-1 the final score. Jimmy Spittle, he's won a couple of America's Cup. He knows how to sail a boat, and these are beasts to fly.
4 in a row. This will be the America's Cup finals that Jimmy Spittle has been in. 1-2, lost 1, and 1 to yet be decided.
We are waiting around for the presentation of the Prada Cup. You can see in the background in front of the Italian flag. Let us go in, and we have Shirley Robertson down on the dock. Shirley, a little bit of bedlam, but quite deservedly so.
Stephen, I know you've been talking about the America's Cup, but right now, that's a long way away. These guys are celebrating, and deservedly so. This has been a long time coming. There's people in swimming, there's singing. Francesco Bruni. I'm not sure we're allowed to hug, but we're having a hug. Extraordinary scenes, and you get a real feel, really, of how hard the journey has been to get here. 4 years of work, and what a tough few months they've had in Auckland, just getting up to pace. This victory, Stephen, you can tell it means the world.
It's moments like these in sport that we cherish, Shirley, and hard not to get goosebumps just listening to you being amongst it, right?
Yeah, and you know, the Italians, they've been... There's way too much hugging here, Stephen. But, you know, they've been so cool and so calm. But here you really get a feel of the relief of how much work has gone into this and what this means. The relief is just incredible. They are fully celebrating, from the families lining the wall. The noise is amazing. From the shore crew who've worked day and night. From the designers and engineers who've really for 4 years have worked solidly on producing the fastest boat. What a proud moment this is for them.
And they're going to come up against another fast boat. When you get the chance to throw some questions at them, I really would like to know, and we'd all like to know, can Luna Rossa get any quicker?
Well, I'm not sure they'll be thinking about that right now, but that's the game, Stephen, isn't it? You've got to have momentum. You've got to have toys in the toolbox, as Kenny says, to bring out as this competition progresses, and we've seen that do that so far. I'm just going to find a camera and a sailor. Just hang on, I'm getting there.
Stay out of the water, Shirley. Stay out of the water.
Greatest line I've heard in the whole campaign. Got to find a camera. Oh, and a sailor. So we're getting closer to the presentation of the Prada Cup. We'll get more from Shirley Robertson down on the dock amongst the Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli.
Stephen.
Yes, Shirley, go.
Stephen, I'm with Jimmy. Jimmy, this is quite the celebration. Just describe this moment.
Yeah, now you're really seeing the Italian emotion and passion. I've been trying to get them to hold it in until we got to this point, but now, good to see it.
There's obviously another goal ahead, but tonight, just what will the celebrations here look like?
They're going to be wild, yeah. They will. Italians know how to party. We'll definitely experience that tonight.
You're just about to be awarded with the Prada Cup. I'll let you go. Thank you.
Jimmy Spittle, all he said afterwards, he wants a beer, and why not? So there'll be plenty of good Italian beer around the place in the viaduct, and we are waiting now for the presentation of the Prada Cup. You can see Max Serena, the skipper, Francesco Bruni, Jimmy Spittle.
I think trying to get control of the horns. That's what they're trying to get control of.
So here's the moment. That is a real moment in the campaign. And Francesco Longanese Catani presents the Prada Cup to Max Serena on behalf of Prada. There you have your Prada Cup champions in 2021. The challenger of record, Rossa Prada Pirelli, are on their way to the match.
How did your skipper become blind? Well, he got champagne sprayed in his eyes, so violent. Here we go. Good celebration. Good Italian-style celebration.
They have earned it. They have earned it with a near flawless performance in the total campaign in this area with the semi-finals through here, 11-1, 7-1 in the Prada Cup final. And you begin to wonder, Kenny, don't you, when you think of this twin helming setup, Sibello, and we've talked about aero because we know Emirates Team New Zealand have to have Pete Burling and Bletcher running across in front of the masts.
They designed that trophy to be able to drink out of. My goodness, they think of everything.
They are all about style, but practicality as well. Let's go to Shirley, who's got Max Serena. Shirley?
A rather damp Max Serena. Max, you've led this team. This has been your dream to have a team in the match in the America's Cup final. What is this moment like for you?
Well, I don't know yet. I think we have to still think what we did. Obviously it's a relief, but so I just said the guy, at least let's enjoy the next 4 or 5 hours because tomorrow we need to think about the other guy, which is going to be tough. But I'm happy. I'm happy because, yeah, we were only 3 challengers, but they were a super top team, and it wasn't that easy to get here. So I'm pleased for the guys, more than everything, for Patrizia, Tom, Miuccia, and all our sponsors and our supplier. Thanks for that.
How proud are you of the boys? I mean, and the whole team. I mean, a tremendous boat, well-executed crew.
Well, it's not, again, when you race and we are so ahead, it's pretty easy to get out of phase or to lose concentration. So I think today the guys, they did a fantastic job also because the pre-start, both pre-start, they were not that easy. And so they did well, they keep calm, they keep going and take the opportunity when the opportunity was there. And so I'm really happy for them, and especially for the young guys. They've been fantastic.
Max, I'm sure all of Italy are cheering at this moment. Give us a message in Italian for all your fans watching at home.
Well, grazie del supporto, veramente sappiamo che è un momento tosto adesso in Italia. Spero che questa prima vittoria vi abbia portato un po' di felicità, vi abbia tolto un po' di pensieri. È una festa nazionale, rappresentiamo l'Italia qua e siamo orgogliosi di rappresentare tutti voi qua in Nuova Zelanda. Grazie, un abbraccio a tutti.
Well done, enjoy the celebrations.
Gotta feel good, doesn't it? Gotta feel good. Well, you were right. They got 4 or 5 hours. Gee whiz. So it's local time. It's heading towards 20 to 7. So
I thought he was going to say 4 or 5 minutes. So I
was actually saying days, but I was getting probably a little bit carried away with that one. But Max Serena, Rossa Prada Pirelli are your Prada Cup champions in 2021. Unbridled emotion is something that you cannot replace in the world of sport, and we are seeing it on show here, dockside in Auckland City, New Zealand, home to the 36th America's Cup. It'll settle down soon, and they're going to have a few, mum champagnes, the odd Peroni, maybe top it up with a limoncello, and that's dangerous. But why wouldn't you?
You know by experience. Is that what you're saying?
Great day. The sun's shining on Rossa, the challenger of record. Only the second time the challenger of record has made it to the match. Last time, 1972. The Royal Sydney Yacht Club. How about that? And this is the second time that they have made the match as a team, Luna Rossa. So there's so much to look forward to and so many more stories to unfold on the Waitemata Harbour.
Oh, that's the greatest view right there. Nothing like a hug from your little daughter. Nothing like it.
Well, one of our guys on the team's just had a little son the other day. That's young Charlie Outteridge, and Nathan Outteridge is still hanging around. I'm sure he's probably dying to get on and have a little taste of something out there. But Nathan, I mean, a huge moment. But Max Serena, Nathan, quite simply said, we'll wait 4 or 5 hours to get back into it.
Max Serena doesn't know how to tear a cork off of a bottle.
He has wrecked that one. Are you still there, Nathan, or have you?
Yeah, Stephen, I'm still here, just watching the whole crew move from the dock up to the base and greeting all their friends and family. And you know, it's emotional times down here. These guys have been working a long time for it, and you know, it's just fantastic to see the emotion come out. You know, as sailors, we're always trained to take the emotion out of it because that's a bit of a weakness when it comes to racing. But when there's something to celebrate, and if you're an Italian, it's really hard to hold those emotions back. And man, they're having a blast down here at the moment. And what did he say? 5 hours and they'll be back at work. Well, I'd say this party's going to go a little bit longer than 5 hours, looking at what's developing down here.
And the one thing we've got to remember now, because he's sort of put it, that's about 11 o'clock local time, but momentum is going to be critical here. But we know March 6 is a little way off, but they'll take what they've learned over the semi-finals in this Prada Cup final, and that'll work plenty.
Absolutely, and you said, you know, Max might give him a couple of days off. I highly doubt that. I highly doubt that. They might get tomorrow off if they're lucky, but they'll be back out on the water pretty soon.
Let's go dockside, Shirley. We got a smiling skipper, helmsman there.
Francesco Bruni, you have not stopped smiling. What a moment this is for your team.
You know, it was always very hard not to smile during the series. And you were trying to always ask me to smile, and I was forcing myself not to do it. But now it's time to smile. It's time to really enjoy this moment with the full team. It's been a lot of work, and everybody on the team deserved it. So I'm very proud of the team. I'm very proud of Italy. Everything is so perfect that I think we are going to try harder to win the America's Cup. We can promise that we will do our best, and then whatever comes, but we will do our best. I think we have a chance.
Francesco, I knew there was an Italian in there somewhere, and right now it's proving it. There is sailing fans across Italy jumping up and down in their living rooms right now. Let's hear a message for them. What can they look forward to in the next few weeks here in Auckland from your team?
Well, we are gonna...
In Italian, give them a treat.
Ragazzi, grazie del supporto, faremo di tutto per vincere la Coppa America. Vi prometto che non lasceremo nulla al caso. Dovranno passarci sopra per vincere la Coppa America. Ci dovranno scavalcare.
And just, oh! Pietro Sabello, this is a special moment.
Yeah, for sure. I'm so happy for the team. These guys worked so hard to achieve this moment, and we just did the last piece of the full work. So I'm very happy to have these guys having party now. Yeah.
And just a word about your helmsman, Francesco Bruno here.
Francesco is the best, il migliore, forza Checo!
It's a great team, è un team fantastico, vi promettiamo che ce la metteremo tutta per vincere la Coppa. Daremo di tutto, tutto.
Congratulations.
Gotta love it, don't you, Kenny? Just gotta love it.
I'm sitting here smiling right along with him. How can you not? I mean, if you're a sports fan, you get it. You know, if you've ever played a sport in your life, you get it. Team sports, you get it. And I just can't believe they designed this trophy so you can drink perfectly out of it. It's just they just think of everything.
Is that going to be our narrative for the rest of the America's Cup?
Absolutely.
How well did they design it? I think Mr. Patelli designed it himself. So, because when you look at that, if you tip that upside down, those are the markers. Those are the gates.
You love those marks.
I do love those marks, but that, and you paint that red, tip up in the water, it's a mini marker.
You don't want to be, you want to be a dentist in town, because I think somebody's going to get their teeth knocked out here if they aren't careful drinking out of this, but nobody would mind at this stage.
It is a tall order, though. It is a tall order to go and win the America's Cup. Enjoy the moment as it stands, but to win the America's Cup, I think the late Sir Peter Blake said it was impossible, but not impossible. But it's so hard to win.
These guys will switch their focus in no time. That's what leadership does. They keep their eye on the ball, but good for them. They deserve every moment of this celebration with family, friends, shore team, fans.
I like the fact that Francesco Bruni said, "We have a chance," and I think that's fight and talk. Let's go dockside, Shirley.
Stephen, we've spoken to the sailors, we've spoken to Max Serena, but I'm here with Martin Fisher, head of design at Luna Rossa. You know, you don't get a lot of the limelight, do you, Martin? But you must really be proud of your team today.
Well, of course, I'm very proud, very satisfied, and very relieved. It's a great day, but I must also say it's not my team. We're all together, so it's really a common work, and there's not one person sticking out in the design team.
You're very modest, but you know, this is a new boat for this America's Cup. The chances of getting it right the first time around, it's a tough call. I mean, how relieved are you to watch your boat today just sail away with the Prada Cup final?
Extremely relieved, obviously. As you said, it was very difficult because it's a new class. It's not only a new class, it's a new type of boat that it hasn't existed before, and it was very tricky to get that right. And of course, we were not sure. We took big risks at the beginning, and it seems that it has paid.
Congratulations. Enjoy the celebrations. You deserve it. Thank you, Martin.
Critical part of the campaign.
Oh, he's the man. I mean, he head of the design team. That's where it all starts. That's where it all finishes. Do you know why, Stephen? Because a slow boat never wins the America's Cup.
There is no second, Kenny.
Sorry, I couldn't help it there, pal.
Don't know where you would have heard that. Family, familia, so important to these sailors. The support that you never really see. All we talk about is the cup, the boats, the designs. But this is the glue.
Let me wear Daddy's helmet. That's what that is right there. Daddy, I want to wear your helmet. Doesn't get any better. It honestly does not get any better than that.
Max Serena with his wife and his children. A proud moment for this man that is so keen to take the Americas home on an Italian boat.
With Team New Zealand last time, you know, kind of trying to learn the ropes on how to win, and you got to believe that they've taken a lot of what he learned over to this campaign.
Time to head back to the dock because we're keeping Shirley busy. Shirley?
I'm with Vasco Verscotti. I mean, a key member of the coaching team here. I have never seen you happier, Vasco. You look a very proud man. How special is this victory?
Obviously it's special because we spent 3 years together, dreaming this moment. So it's the time to celebrate, obviously, but we need to celebrate one day, no more. Otherwise, we lose the focus that we have, that is keep going. We have a good momentum. We wanted to try to do something special, and I think that, pray God, light wind, please, light wind, and we can do something special.
I've spoken to you throughout the build-up to this weekend, and you always believed. Why were you so confident in the Italian team?
I'm confident because I trust the group. I mean, these are my family since 3 years, and I know what is the passion of these guys. We know.
Forza Trieste.
Exactly, and Forza Trieste. That's a good call. No, it's very passionate team. I think that we work hard. We make some good call strategies. We have a lot of little babies that love us, and we need to push hard as much as we can, because this is something that you have an opportunity once in the life, and maybe it's this one.
Just lastly, maybe a word in Italian to your Italian fans at home. What does this mean?
The Italian guys are, I just received I don't know how many phone calls, and I wanted to say thanks to everybody that wake up early in the morning and that give us a lot of support, and this extra speed is also because we know that there are a lot of hands that are pushing our boats.
Congratulations.
Ciao, ragazzi.
Vasco Viscotto, coach, one of the coaches, and that's the one thing that people don't talk a lot about, Kenny, and understand the sport. They have coaches to make sure that the particular. Where does the coach? Who does the coach help most?
Well, they have coaches for coaches at this stage. You know, we're really getting to that level. This is a pure professional sport. Philippe Presti, who's had lots of success in the Cup in the past. Vasco is just a star sailor in his own right. You know, they really do, whether it's design side coaches, speed coaches, mental coaches, physical coaches, sailing coaches. It's how the sport is played, and clearly how the sport is won at this stage.
I'm always intrigued. The helmsmen have their own coaches. I mean, these guys are five-star sailors, but they still have someone coaching them to be better.
No question about it. And for me, it was always a struggle having coach for that. For
being told what to do.
Okay, fair enough. You're not the first person to say that. But he's been working with Philippe Presti now for years, and they've just built a bond. And when Philippe says something, he listens. And there's probably not many sailors in the world that he actually listens to.
You look at Jimmy Spittle just talking there a moment ago, and you look at the eye. Always look at the eyes. He's already switched focus.
There's no question. He
has already switched focus.
Helmet's still on. He wants to go sailing again. Come on, we got to go test a new mainsail. You know, something like that is going through his head right now. There's no question. You don't get to 4 Cup finals in a row by taking even a moment off from thinking about it.
Yeah, it has been a battle. Jimmy Spittle has been battling Ben Ainslie, been sailing with Ben Ainslie for a long time. It is time now to get some reaction from Ben Ainslie after getting back off the boat, and we'll see how he's feeling, because we never really got the chance to have a good chat with him, but now is your chance to hear from the man that has led INEOS Team UK, Sir Ben Ainslie.
Ben, first of all, commiserations. It's not the way you would have wanted to end this campaign, is it? I mean, what are your initial thoughts? I know it's early days.
Oh, my initial thoughts are congratulations to Luna Rossa. And they sailed brilliantly, and they had the best package over the range of conditions, and you know, deserved to win. We're obviously disappointed. We fought tooth and nail and went down fighting even that fast in that last race. So I couldn't be prouder of the team, the way they've dealt with the challenges we've had over these last 3 or 4 years with this campaign. And certainly we look back to the World Series and the Christmas race, turning things around. But ultimately we weren't quick enough across the range of conditions. That's where we need to be if you're going to win the America's Cup. So, yeah, disappointed. We really wanted to get ourselves into the Cup, but we've got to go away and think about, you know, what was good about the campaign, but also what we didn't get quite right, and why, and how we can rectify that.
It's been a hell of a roller coaster ride for you guys. I'm not sure actually seeing you in campaigns that I've ever seen such extremes in a campaign. Did it feel like that? How hard was it to manage that?
Yeah, it's been a tough campaign. It's actually been a tough campaign the whole way through for a number of different reasons. I guess dealing with a new class of boat and all the challenges that brings. But certainly, whilst we've been here in New Zealand, it's been, like you say, a bit of a roller coaster ride. And again, I can't thank the team enough, because they just stuck to the task. Every single person in the organisation worked incredibly hard to turn this boat around and get us, you know, obviously get us through into the Prada Cup final. So, yeah, that's what you need in moments like that. You need a strong team, and I'm really proud of them.
And do you think this is the beginning of something? I mean, first of all, do you think you'll be back? I know it's very early days to make statements on that, but do you think you'll be back? And secondly, do you think this is changing the face of high-performance sailing?
Yeah, I mean, look, I started this team back in 2014 with the goal to get the Cup back to Britain, and as far as I'm concerned, until I get the job done, it's not over, so we've got to keep going. There's a lot of learning out of these campaigns, as you can imagine. You look at Luna Rossa and Team New Zealand, they've been in the Cup game now for 20 and 30 years, respectively. And that, whilst the people may change over the years, it's that learning and development that's the key. So, yeah, I think we've got to keep going, got to get the job done. I think this class of boat has been a huge success. It really has. I mean, it's the best boat I've ever sailed. I think it's perfect for the America's Cup when you really want to be trying to sit at the forefront of the technology in the sport. And it has the wow factor, you know, a 75-foot monohull foiling around at, 50-odd knots. It's pretty cool.
And just
so, yeah, I think it's been a very successful event.
And finally, do you feel like you've sort of come out of it? As I say, it hasn't been the result you wanted, but have you come out of it, do you feel, at a level whereby you'd feel confident about going forwards from here, that you're in a good place, assuming that the class remains the same?
Well, look, I think we've learned a huge amount from this campaign. I can see a lot of people in this organisation that have grown massively in the last 4 years, and that it's a people game. So you've got to develop, nurture that talent, and yeah, I think we now have the experience and we have the capability, to be a really credible challenger, to go all the way and win the Cup, and that's what we're interested in. We're not happy with this result. We wanted to be in the final. We wanted to win the Cup, and that's our focus.
And just, I did say finally, but just a very final thing. The best moment out of the campaign for you?
Best moment, probably race one of the round robins. Coming out of the blocks against American Magic, getting a good start, and the guys sailing the boat brilliantly, sailing away, and I think that left a few people's mouths open and probably shut a few people up as well. So that was a pretty satisfying moment.
Well done, Ben. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, Matt.
All the best.
There is always light at the end of the tunnel, and has led the INEOS Team UK campaign like a true gentleman as well, and he has had to shoulder so much. But that moment there said it all. Just after crossing the finish line and talking to them, Francesco Bruni finally smiling along with Jimmy Spittle as they won the 2021 Prada Cup and became the official challenger for the America's Cup, the 36th edition. They are the challenger of record. They, in true sportsmanlike fashion, applauded the efforts of INEOS Team UK and their boat Britannia, or Rita. And there is Sir Jim Ratcliffe on the left-hand side, the man that... He's the money man, but I get the feeling he's going to be coming back, Kenny, when it is decided where the next Cup will be and who will be the defender.
He's not, I don't think he's really necessarily the money. I think he's a sportsman, which is a big difference. It's really, it's great to have him here, and I hope he's around for a long, long time.
Let us just remind you how we got to this stage. We had one defender, 3 challenges, and these flying AC-75s. We had to start with the round-robin series. They started with 3, INEOS Team UK, Italy, and American Magic. We know what happened to American Magic. Sadly, there was a campaign that was, wow, it could have been so different if they were still here, because we knew they had a fast boat. But they were beaten in the semi-finals by Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli, who faced up to INEOS Team UK, who earned the right after being top qualifier to go through and be the first into the Prada Cup final. And today we have seen it done. We have a challenger for the 36th America's Cup. That will be Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli. So note this in your book. Saturday, March 6, 2021, the match begins. Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli against Emirates Team New Zealand for the 36th America's Cup.
Today's America's Cup Racing is brought to you by Mum Champagne.